station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Minnesota.
Last Sunday, Alberto Mejia recorded his first major league win. This afternoon, he returns with the task of keeping Tampa Bay from another home run barrage at Target Field. He's allowed 4 home runs in his last 2 starts. He'll be tested today by Logan Morrison in a Rays roster that's hit 14 home runs in their last 5 games here. Morrison has 5 of those. He's parked pitches in 4 consecutive games. Steven Souza Jr. connected on a solo shot last night. His 3rd home run in his last 3 games. Only the Nationals have hit more homers this season than the Rays. Near perfect Saturday for baseball at Target Field, where the division-leading Twins try to square the series at a win apiece with Tampa Bay. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by State Farm. With Tim Laudner, I'm Tom Hanneman. Welcome to Twins baseball. Some serious changes in the Twins lineup today. No Buxton, Sano, or Polanco. So Kenny Vargas will be counted on heavily in this lineup to come through, which is exactly what he has done over his last 6 games, Tim.
Yeah, he sure had. He's going to be counted on heavily to provide some offense in this lineup because he's the guy that's been swinging a very hot bat as of late. Really nice job in Baltimore, hitting the ball the other way, going with the pitch, using the entire field. Kenny Vargas has been swinging a very hot bat, and he wants to show his manager that he's capable of handling DH duties and backup duties to Joe Mauer on a more regular basis. He and Robbie Grossman have been sharing the DH duties for Paul Molitor. He wants to show his manager why he wants to be in the lineup on a regular basis.
Dick Bramer, Jack Morris return to discuss the challenge that lies ahead for Twins pitchers today. Tampa Bay 14 home runs in their last 5 games here. That kind of Minnesota nice has to end.
Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Toyota. Tested, trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. By CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by Jeep. Test drive a Jeep brand vehicle at the Jeep Memorial Day sales event going on now.
Last night, the Twins saw their 4-game winning streak come to an end. Today, they hope to start building a new winning streak. Game 2 between the Rays and the Twins. It'll be right-hander Jake Odorizzi going for the Rays and lefty Adalberto Mejia for the Twins. Good Saturday afternoon to you from Target Field. Dick Bramer along with Jack Morris. So far in Adalberto Mejia's major league career, he's had a tough time keeping the ball in the ballpark. Now, he took a big step forward in his last start when he was added to the roster as a 26th man. Now, additional opportunity for Mejia. He's trying to pin down the spot as the number 5 starter.
Yeah, and it's a simple task for him. Shut down a lineup that hits a lot of home runs here at Target Field. He's got to try to keep the ball in the ballpark. Pitch count is another concern of Mejia's. He's a guy that has thrown a lot of pitches early in the ball game. He did manage 7 innings his last time out, allowing just those 5 hits, and picked up his first win. So we would like to add to that, go back-to-back with maybe 7+ innings and get another win here as the Twins take the field for game number 2.
And that's the problem with this Tampa Bay lineup. They do one thing well, and that is hit the ball over the fence.
They do that very well, and the guy that's done it more than anybody is Evan Longoria. Logan Morrison got a home run yesterday. Souza Jr. hit a ball after the greatest belly flop I've ever seen in Major League Baseball yesterday, but it was fun to watch. And that's the story of the Tampa Bay Rays this year. They hit a lot of home runs. They strike out even more. So how Mejia does will be his destiny.
Well, the Twins hope that Mejia can step up and give the Twins a much-needed shot in the arm. The left arm of Mejia starting for the Twins against the Rays. Hoping to bounce back after a loss last night. They ran into a really good pitcher at the very top of his game, Chris Archer, so they'll hope for Adalberto Mejia to pitch that type of game for the Twins.
Well, it'd be nice to see Mejia get first pitch strikes, to pitch in pitchers counts instead of hitters counts. These guys like to swing the bat, hit home runs, and he needs to just kind of minimize all that by getting ahead and making it more advantageous for him.
Kevin Cash has his team above the 500 mark now. They've been as high as 2 games above the 500 mark, but they have been at 500 15 times this year, so the Twins hope to knock them back down
to 26 and 26. Here's the Menards batting order for the Rays. Tim Beckham in the leadoff spot. Then Daniel Robertson, Evan Longoria, Logan Morrison, Steven Souza Jr., Kevin Kiermaier, Ricky Weeks Jr., Derek Norris, and Peter Borges.
And the season numbers for Adalberto Mejia. You see he's got 4 starts. This will be number 5. He's 1-1 with a 4.96. Looking to pick up his 2nd consecutive win.
16 1/3 innings and 4 home runs allowed, including 2 in that win over Kansas City last Sunday. And it is a different opportunity for Mejia, who was called up as the 26th man for the doubleheader last weekend. But the Twins have an opening, at least one, in their starting rotation, and Mejia would like to take a step forward today towards securing that. 1 strike to Beckham.
Never faced the Tampa Bay Rays, so it's a new experience for both of them, him and their lineup.
Beckham, Robertson, and Longoria in the Tampa Bay first. On the ground. Gobbled up by Adrianza. He fires over to Mauer, 1 away. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Some different names out there as Paul Molitor shakes the lineup up a little bit. Rosario in left, Kepler in center with Buxton out of the ballgame, Grossman in right. Escobar at third, Sano's out. Adrianza in at short, Polanco is out. Dozier and Mauer on the right side, Jimenez catching. Soft hands, A-Ray Adrianza. And that ball kind of came up on him on that last hop. He played it like he was expecting it to come up. Taken low, ball 1, as the pitch is delivered to Daniel Robertson.
One thing we've seen, and it's really been a plus for the pitching staff, is real solid defense on the left side of the infield, whether it's Adrianza at short or Polanco at short. Sano at third. Today Escobar is getting a chance to play third because Sano gets the day off.
That's to right center field, and Grossman makes the catch. Paul Molitor had some interesting thoughts about Grossman before the game today, basically saying that, you know, the Twins kind of challenged him to really upgrade his game defensively so that there wouldn't be a drop off when he got into the game. Grossman knows, everybody knows, Rosario, Buxton, Kepler, that's a real athletic outfield, cover a lot of ground, and they implored Robbie to work on his game, and the results have been pretty positive.
You know, the one thing I think he's improved on is his routes. He's taken more of a direct route to the ball. We saw a lot of L-shaped S patterns, all sorts of funky look routes last year, but I think for the most part he doesn't have the speed of those other 3 guys, but if you can run directly to where the ball is going to land, it puts you in a good advantage.
And Paul expanded his thought to include just that he's taking better routes and is a serviceable outfielder now.
You know, you have to take a lot of fly balls to be more efficient at the routes. You have to know where the ball is going to be based on how many times you've seen it hit.
And it's a little bit different for him now too, because remember last year when he played in the field, it was in left field, and now he's seeing substantial time in right. And everything that a ball does in left field, it does just the opposite in right field. 1-2 to Longoria, and now 2-2.
A year ago, Paul Molitor would play Eddie Rosario once in a while in center field or at center field. Now, when Buxton's out of the game, it seems like we're seeing more of Kepler in center, so that puts Robbie in right field instead of left.
Pulled foul. Now right field here is a little bit smaller than left field, so that fits well with Grossman. Before he came to the Twins organization, he would claim to be able to play all 3 positions, but I don't think the Twins want him in center field. But as a corner outfielder, he's covering the ground well enough.
You say smaller. I'd like that explanation. What do you mean by smaller?
Well, it's 365 to the gap instead of 377. Adrianza has the play. On target to Mauer. 3 up and 3 down in a good first inning from Mejia.
get back into the win column here today. And the Twins, of course, have 3 of those 4 wins against the Baltimore Orioles. Here's the Menards batting order for Game 2. Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, Robbie Grossman, Max Kepler, Kenny Vargas, Eduardo Escobar, Chris Jimenez, Eddie Rosario, and A-Ray Adrianza.
And right-hander Jake Odorizzi will be their mound opponent. He's 3-2 with a 3.14 ERA. He has had a major league leading 20 no decisions since the start of last season. This guy is Mr. No Decision. Got a no decision in his last outing. But he's also got its limited teams to very few hits. Major league most 8 starts of 2 hits or fewer since the start of last season. Twins are going to have their hands full again today. This guy likes to pitch up in the zone with fastballs.
And that would fit into Brian Dozier's game. You would think he will lead things off. He has a home run against Odorizzi. Then Mauer and Grossman. And a foul lifted down the right field line into the seats, 1 strike. Rays now have had 16 games in a row where they've not given up double digits in hits. They've got it going on the mound. And a lot of people think they are the sleeper team in a very tough yet balanced American League East. 1 strike. Up the middle right into the shift. With the second baseman Robertson pulled over, he has an easy play on Dozier, 1 down. Northland Ford defense for the Rays. Peter Borges is in left field. Kevin Kiermaier in center. Steven Souza Jr. in right. Longoria, Beckham, Robertson, Morrison, the infielders, Derek Norris back behind the plate again.
Catching a day game after a night game? How about that?
And the guess is that Jesus Sucre, the other catcher for the Rays, will get tomorrow's game. Here is Mauer. Inside corner, strike 1.
Well, Mauer and Dozier are the most at bats against Odorizzi. Both have 7 coming into today's game.
A little bit low. See where right fielder Steven Souza Jr. is, playing in right center field. And Mauer takes 2-1.
That's just a step and a dive to the line, though.
Everything's a step and a dive for him. That was one of the funnier moments of the year last night. And what made it funny is he enjoyed it too. Seemed to chuckle over his ill-fated diving attempt. Mauer takes a high strike now, and it's 2-2.
You know, if he would have come in and told the press after the game that there was a grass monster, that he actually was starting to trip and that's why he dove, because, you know, it would have been more acceptable. That was just flat out hilarious.
2-2 to Joe Mauer. And now 3-2. Grossman on deck. Twins had a tough assignment last night, to be sure, trying to hit against Chris Archer, but there were a lot of at-bats that seemed to try to do something that was impossible with Archer on the mound, to pull pitches that weren't pullable. So the Twins have changed the lineup around quite a bit. Sano sitting, Buxton sitting.
For whatever reason, guys like Sano come back to target field and their approach is different. They're not willing to go the other way. They see that left field wall out there and they want to make the home team or home crowd happy. And Miguel was really pulling off some balls last night.
Mauer swings through one of those high fastballs, 2 down. He's been good, and he's been stingy in giving up hits, and as you can see, runs as well.
Yeah, those numbers very, very good over his last 5 starts. Tampa Bay Rays have a very good starting staff, and that's why, with a relatively poor defensive team, they are still hovering around 500.
Grossman hitting third with 2 down. Just outside, ball 1. Grossman's average at .264, but again, with all the walks, there have been 25 of them. An on-base percentage of over 400. Strike 1-1. His .405 on-base percentage would place him 4th in the league, right behind Sano. He's just a couple of plate appearances short
for being on the leaderboard, up and away. Two and one. Three and one. Kepler on deck. Twins lost last night, but so did Cleveland. So did Detroit. Chicago and Kansas City were winners. So the lead is still 2 games for the Twins. 44 games into the season. And Grossman takes a walk. He's aboard with 2 away.
Let's take a look at Jake Odorizzi and his pitch arsenal. You can see 46% fastballs. He's got about 28% splitters. Cutter and a slider curve. Pretty good mix of pitches. Again, this guy's got good command. He throws the ball over. He challenges hitter.
And now Kepler will bat. He's faced Odorizzi before, 1 for 3. And now hitting in the cleanup spot. Squaring and taking up and away with Longoria. Well off the line and playing a deep third base.
I think a guy should do that at least 2 or 3 times just to wear out Longoria. I mean, when you have one guy basically on the left side and he's got to cover all of it, you're going to have to run around a little bit.
2-0, and Longoria has shortened up now at third base by a couple of steps. "16 pitches for Odorizzi and only 7 strikes. 2-0 to Kepler. To right center field, but it's hanging in the air. And Souza makes a running catch to end the inning. Grossman left aboard, and we have a scoreless first inning. Game kind of a continuation of recent pattern with the Rays. Evan Longoria and Logan Morrison doing a lot of damage. They are our State Farm combination.
Yeah, 2 guys alone with 14 home runs against the Twins, and especially here at Target Field, they, for whatever reason, have been enjoying the feast.
So Rays lineup, as we mentioned last night, that has averaged over 10 strikeouts a game. Last night they only struck out 8 times. Mejia got 3 outs on 3 balls put in play in the first. Mejia in his 2017 season, 16 1/3 innings and 13 strikeouts, so he's capable of striking people out. Delivers ball 1 to Morrison, then Souza and Kiermaier. That clips the inside corner. And like last night's starter, Hector Santiago, left-handers so far this year with a much smaller sample size, but left-handers have hit quite a bit better against Mejia than right-handers. That's hit to right and deep. Grossman over, and he'll play a bounce. Actually, it's Kepler who will fire to second base, and in with a double is Logan Morrison. And that'll bring up Steven Souza Jr. And an interesting night, shall we say.
Well, this is the little belly flop we talked about in right field, where he dove and the ball was still 35-40 feet in front of him. And he had a laugh with his center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier, about it. And then redemption. Swinging the bat, upper deck, home run.
The play itself was humorous, and then when he stepped up into the batter's box for his at-bat in the next inning, the video board here at Target Field played it, and he got another chuckle out of that and then hit the home run.
Twins fans gave him a round of applause, and then he hits a home run.
Souza takes low, ball one. Morrison at second with a leadoff double. And now a strike.
Everybody playing straight away to Souza, outfield and infield.
That rolls away from Jimenez, and Morrison will go to third. Guessing pass ball will be charged to Jimenez as it beat him on the glove side.
Yep, pass ball.
Pass ball it is. Now runner at third. Twins will play the infield back. Mauer creeping in now, playing about even with the base at first. And it's 2-1. Swing and a miss. Souza tried to wait for that off-speed pitch, didn't time it well, and it's 2-2.
See a breaking ball at middle of the middle. But if you watched, the front shoulder and the chin were looking towards left field.
Just outside, 3-2. Kiermaier on deck. Ten walks in 17 and a third innings for Mejia. That's been the biggest issue for him, issuing free passes. That and the home runs, of course. Full count. And he missed with a breaking ball, and Souza will take first. First and third, nobody out. Let's go to Kevin Gore.
Thanks, Dick. It's time for the car soup scoop from the Twins clubhouse. Paul Molitor said it's hard to give Miguel Sano a day off at any point in the season, but with 48 games in the next 48 days, he's trying to get a lot of people rest here periodically in the coming weeks. Glenn Perkins pitched on the side yesterday. It went decent. He'll pitch again on Tuesday. They're close to moving live batters into that situation, and no real update on Phil Hughes. They can't figure it out with that shoulder situation, and their Twins right now are contemplating getting a second opinion on Phil Hughes' shoulder.
Phil told me this morning he may go down to Texas and get a second opinion, try to figure out what is causing the tingling that he experienced last year. The thought was you take the rib out, that releases pressure on the nerve and everything would be fine, but he's got a lot of the same symptoms that he had last year. Can't keep taking ribs out. Eventually you're going to run out of ribs. One strike. Twins would love to get a ground ball double play. They have the third baseman Escobar playing even with the base, so if it's hit to him, he may have some options here. Runner at third in a case like this. Morrison is told to go, And if they make a play on him, that keeps the team out of the double play. And if they don't, they've got to run.
Well, that's why Kiermaier is going to want to try to hit the ball to the right side. Twins will concede the run of Logan Morrison. Trading out for a run at this point in the ball game.
2 strikes. Mejia ahead of Kiermaier. Left one up, and Kiermaier spun it back to the screen. See, Adam Wilk was designated for assignment. Twins maintaining a 12-man pitching staff and adding a starter in Mejia.
Yeah, the way it kind of all worked out is the Twins borrowed Adam Wilk for a couple weeks. And that's kind of what happens in baseball nowadays. The way they can adjust rosters during the season, so much different than a couple generations ago.
Another 2-strike pitch. Got him looking. Clipped the inside corner. And Kiermaier is out on strikes. And Kiermaier has some parting words for Carlos Torres.
First strikeout for
good pitch.
Adalberto. Yes, front door slider, catches the inside corner, and a big out.
You can see Kiermaier backed away, and the ball broke over the plate. Now Ricky Weeks, very strikeout prone, comes up with runners at first and third and 1 down.
Now this is one guy you want to get ahead in the count of. Weeks is on pace to set the all-time record for strikeouts. He plays all season.
Jimenez blocks. 84 at bats, 44 strikeouts for Ricky Weeks. Want to know. And now 2-0. And Jimenez to the mound.
Yeah, Mejia, his body was kind of all over the place. Not very fluid in coming towards Jimenez. And Jimenez trying to give him a breather. Calm him back down and have him throw the ball in the strike zone. You got to challenge a guy like Ricky Weeks, who's really struggled this year. Not only with the strikeouts, but with the total numbers. You want this guy to put the ball in play.
Two and 0. Three and 0. Norris on deck. By now, you know, I think Mejia won a starter's job out of spring training with an impressive March, but then seemed a little overmatched, was sent back, called back up Sunday. 3 and 0. And a walk will load the bases. A double, now a pair of walks. And that'll bring up Derek Norris. The competition for Mejia's spot that he earned coming out of spring training was, well, originally it was going to be Trevor May, but of course he had the Tommy John surgery. Then Tyler Duffy and Jose Barrios. But Barrios, I don't think, was ever given considerable consideration after the WBC because he didn't pitch well or pitch long enough or enough in the WBC to be ready for opening day.
Well, I think it's the ideal scenario for any manager to have a couple righties and a couple lefties.
There's a base hit to left. Rosario charges and he'll fire all the way into the plate. And it's a single driving in Morrison. 1-0 Rays. The base is still loaded.
Well, and herein lies the problem for Adalberto Mejia. 30 pitches, only 1 out recorded in the second inning. The pitch count already climbing. A couple of walks, a strikeout, and now a couple hits in this inning. Plate's the first runner of the game.
And a trip to the mound from Neil Allen. Rosario had the freedom to airmail the throw since the bases were loaded. No chance for any advancement. So 2 hits, 2 walks in the inning. And now Borges will bat.
Peter Borges came from the California Angels originally, and a guy with tremendous speed. I think he had an inside the park home run here, didn't he?
Yes, hit his first major league home run at the Metrodome years ago. Bounced around. And Mejia misses low ball one. When he came up, I thought he was going to be, a Brett Gardner type of guy. Runs very well. Most recently with the White Sox. And a strike called.
Mejia needs the ground ball right here. Although it's going to be awful hard to double up Borges. He's very, very fast.
And Jimenez fires to the plate, and they got him. Nice recovery by Jimenez, and Mejia hustling to the plate. And it's a short throw, but it was a perfect throw by Jimenez to the pitcher.
Well, Kevin Cash is going to want to review this, I think. Mejia's doing the right thing. He gets to home plate, but he stands behind the plate. And the real question is, where did he tag him relative to the plate? Oh, yeah.
Ooh, just barely.
Did he tag him, though? That angle does not show that he tagged him. Looks like he tagged him on the back of the buttocks. I don't know.
They are not going to challenge it. And it's because of the placement of the play on the timeline of the game. Just the second inning. You challenge this, and if it's overturned, maybe this angle will show where, or even if. Oh boy, that's such a. I'm surprised they're not challenging it. That's the difference between a run and maybe a really big inning. But the Rays choose not to. 2 down, 1 run in, 2 men in scoring position, and 2-1 the count to Borges, and now 2-2. Borges acquired from the White Sox for cash considerations, and when your manager's name is Kevin Cash, he will always be under cash considerations now as long as he's a Ray. Whether he plays or not, whether he's pinch hit for or not, those will all be, right, cash considerations.
Well, that would be a play on words, of course.
2-2 to Borges. Foul. Twins trying to fill in or fill out their rotation internally. First it was Barrios called up, and the results speak for themselves, and Mejia given the same opportunity here as Barrios has been given. 2-2 on the ground, and Adrianza has it, and Bauer has to stretch a little bit. All in all, Mejia does a nice job. His catcher does a nice job keeping this a 1-0 ball game, and Kenny Vargas will lead off the second for the Twins, down 1-0. admiration for athletes who put together a very good second career after the athletic career is over with. Jim Bunning did that. Served in the Senate, representing the great state of Kentucky for many years. He passed away today at the age of 85. I never had the pleasure of meeting the Hall of Fame pitcher, but you did.
Yeah, just a couple years ago at a card show, I ran into Jim Bunning, had a little conversation with him, former Detroit Tigers, so we had a little history and background.
Age 85, and the Hall of Famer left us today. Kenny Vargas will lead things off. I've had occasion to meet just a couple of times Alan Page, and same thing with Alan Page, who was a Hall of Fame football player and went on to a very distinguished career. Obviously, state Supreme Court justice. Have to respect people like that.
Well, getting into the service part of life and trying to do their part to make decisions for us easier.
2-1 to Vargas, to be followed by Escobar and Jimenez. Here's a ball hit to center. Kenny Vargas just keeps on hitting. A leadoff single here in the second.
Yeah, Kenny's really been on a streak here for the last couple of weeks, getting a chance in the lineup today, and had a tough day yesterday. Of course, all the Twins did yesterday, but today gets this pitch right over the middle of the plate. Not sure what that was. I don't know if that was a sinker or.
Vargas got the RBI single to get the Twins on the board last night. A 7-game hitting streak. Leadoff man is on, and now Eduardo Escobar.
Well, Vargas, a lot like Sano, usually hits the ball hard. If he hits it, it's not going to be a cheap one very often. Although I did like his swinging bunt base hit, infield hit the other day.
Escobar takes a strike. One strike to Escobar. Another one to center field, the base hit. Vargas stops at second, so the Twins taking Odorizzi up the middle, which is encouraging. If you felt, as many did, that the Twins were a little pull happy last night against hard-throwing right-hander Chris Archer, and now maybe a better approach, taking the ball up the middle.
Well, Paul mixed up the lineup. A few guys had been pulling off, Sano being one of those guys, but so many times early in the ball game we've seen the Twins pitchers give up a run or two, and then the offense come right back in their next half inning and get them make up for those 2 or 3 runs that they've given up. Twins got a good chance to maybe put one on the board and tie this game with the first 2 guys on with hits.
So what Jimenez is asked to do is hitting just 184. Might be a bunting situation. Morrison playing in front of the runner at first. Longoria even with the bag at third. And Jimenez checks and takes ball 1. The Twins so far this year, 44 games, they have just 2 sacrifice bunts. So sometimes the perception doesn't match reality, and I think the perception is that Paul Molitor's fallen in love with the bunt ever since his playing days, but just 2 sacrifice bunts on the year for the Twins.
Well, the Twins' best bunter is their number 2 hitter, Joe Mauer.
Yeah, that's true.
A couple of drag bunts that are really sacrifice bunts put in the right position because of his approach. But you know, you're not going to want Joe Mauer to be bunting very often, because when he's in the situation like this, he's got such good bat control and goes deep into counts. That's what you want Joe Mauer to do.
Buxton has a sacrifice bunt, and Rosario has a sacrifice bunt, and that's it. Swing and a miss. Jimenez turned loose, and it's 1-2. Rosario on deck, then Adrianza. Takes up high, 2-2.
We talked about Jake Odorizzi and the fact that he likes pitching up in the zone. This at bat, whether he was by design or not, he's thrown a couple balls up in the zone to Chris Jimenez.
2-2. Foul away. Jason Castro, the regular catcher for the Twins, hitting just over 200. Jimenez hitting a little bit below it. Two and two. Foul. The Twins made a conscious decision to try to get more defensive oriented with their backstops. With Castro and Jimenez, their reputations pretty well established, known quantities. I think you've got to give them some credit for the improved pitching. Team ERA of 4.17, right in the middle of the pack in the American League.
Well, we've seen, especially with Jason Castro, his ability to block balls, keep the ball in front of him. That certainly helps the pitching staff.
Just missed the upper right-hand corner, and it's a full count. Didn't miss by much.
Well, let's look.
It missed, but not by much.
Well, according to Fox Tracks, it missed. No, according to most pitchers, that's a strike.
A pitcher's pitch.
Supposed to swing.
And ball four. They're loaded up for Rosario.
Nobody out. Twins got some action going here. Second walk of the game for Jake Odorizzi.
Jim Hickey to the mound. Has to be frustrating for Odorizzi. Jimenez hitting just 184, and he was ahead of him, but then Jimenez wouldn't expand the strike zone, ended up with a free pass. Let's get the big story in baseball from Kevin Gorg.
Yeah, the big story takes us to last night. A couple of cool stories as well. Big strikeouts on display. Of course, Max Scherzer, we're used to seeing him hit lucky 13. And of course, Masahiro Tanaka for the Yankees. But for Tanaka and the Yankees, they lost 4-1 to Oakland with those 13 strikeouts, even though he went 7 1/3. Scherzer 8 2/3 in a 5-1 win over San Diego. And there's no problems in Houston. 33-16. And Dallas Keuchel expected to be back tonight after dealing with that neck injury. 7-0, 1.84. The best percentage winning-wise in baseball. They'll be here starting on Monday, guys.
And Keuchel will not pitch in that series. The Twins are going to be facing more right-handed starting pitching in the Houston series. Here is Rosario, bases loaded and nobody out. Swung on and missed. Strike one.
It's gotten to a point in baseball where you cannot assume anything. And most managers don't want to even project or talk about a series coming up. They want to worry about today's game. Paul Molitor, no question, is only concerned about today.
Nice block. One thing that Rosario has quietly done is you look at Norris's block.
See how he gets that chest out over the baseball, his hands underneath it. The ball can only go one place, straight down.
Rosario's significantly cut back on his strikeouts.
That's a good thing.
Last year he struck out about every 3.5 at bats, and now it's like 1 every 5 at bats. Lifted to very short left field. Gorgeous coming in. And Vargas playing off the line. No chance to advance. One down. That'll bring up Adrianza. Just 13 at bats for Adrianza, but 5 hits, including a double. And he'll hit left-handed, where he's 4 for 9. He's also drawn 3 walks and has yet to strike out from this side of the plate. Don't expect to build many opportunities like the one the Twins have here in the second. So the Twins need to get something out of this. Adrianza's driven in 3 runs.
He's actually done a nice job in his little sample size role that Paul has put him in. Polanco is primarily your everyday shortstop, but he's getting a breather here and there. And I think Adrianza has really done a nice job so far. You saw his offensive numbers there, which are very respectable.
Outside ball 1. We talked about it in the last homestand, and it was in evidence again in Baltimore. In key at bats, the results have been much better on the road than at home. Now, whether it's a case of some hitters trying to do too much at home and having a different mindset in the at bat. Adrianza deep to the left field corner, but into the seats. Whether that's what it is or not, the results are indisputable. You expect on the road someone, whether it be Rosario or Adrianza or perhaps Dozier, to produce here, but at home the results haven't been nearly as productive.
Well, last night we saw one of the best pitch games of the year and one of the best sliders of the year, and we also saw several of the Twins hitters trying to lift and separate, pull everything. When they get pull happy, they don't have good results.
1-1 to the Twins shortstop.
For whatever reason, on the road they've been more willing to go the other way and hit the ball up the middle and adjust to the ball on the inner half.
Maybe it's all a symptom of growing pains, but Twins hope that it'll turn around here, starting with this at bat. 3-1. Dozier on deck and no place to put Adrianza. Mentioned he has drawn 3 walks in 16 plate appearances. 17. He's also got a sacrifice fly.
Well, he's having a good at bat. These are the kind of at bats that Paul expects out of everybody. That, stay within yourself, get a pitch to hit, and don't chase out of the zone.
Fouled back now, 3-2.
Had a good pitch to hit right there.
1 strikeout this year in 13 at bats. He's going to concentrate now on just putting the ball in play someplace. Certainly a chance to tie the ball game and maybe take the lead here. And Norris wants to have a chat with Odorizzi. This will be his 40th pitch with only 1 out in the second.
Yeah, both pitchers having a rough second inning. Both of them had clean 1, 2, 3 first innings.
Full count to Ehire Adrianza. And another foul. Adrianza, before becoming a Twin, had 291 major league at bats spread out over parts of 4 seasons with the Giants. So while we're getting to know him, this is his 12th year of professional baseball. He's been around a while. Trying to put together a good at bat with a happy ending. Tried to sneak a fastball by him and he flicked it foul.
Here's what Odorizzi's featured so far. You can see the ball kind of all over the strike zone. Couple away, couple in. A lot of breaking balls, good movement.
Another 3-2. Drilled to center. Kiermaier back. He will make the catch deep enough to score Vargas. It's a great at-bat plate appearance for Ehire Adrianza, and he's tied the game. Hit it hard and deep enough for Vargas to come in from third base.
Well, that's just it. He worked the at bat and kept getting pitches to handle, and he finally was able to lift one deep enough to center field. Gets congratulations from his teammates. We're all knotted up here now at 1.
The only ball that the Twins have pulled so far, first time through the order, was Kepler's soft line drive into right field. Dozier hit the ball hard up the middle, but with the shift that the Rays and a lot of other teams put on Dozier, it was hit right at the second baseman. Most of the right hand side of the infield is wide open.
Kiermaier did a really nice job of getting his body in position to catch that ball. Made a great accurate throw towards third base. And that kept Escobar at second base.
Ball 1 to Dozier.
Pretty good defensive outfielder right there. Center fielder for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Amazing that he's committed 4 errors this year. He's overrun a couple of balls in his home ballpark. Bouncing towards him. High and tight 2-0. I suspect it won't take too many more at bats like Dozier's first inning at bat for him to start hitting the ball to the right side. Those are the frustrating ones if you're a hitter and you hit it right into the shift. That's typically a base hit when you hit a hard ground ball up the middle, but the Rays had him played perfectly. A high fly to left, and Borges backpedaling, still on the grass, makes the catch. Twins tie it up on a couple of hits and a walk and an impressive sacrifice fly by Adrianza. On Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Very pleasant afternoon for a ball game. About 70 degrees. No breeze at all. No sunshine. Adrianza just tied it with a sacrifice fly. And now we go to the 3rd inning. Beckham, Robertson, and Longoria. And Mejia hoping for a better inning, quicker inning. He misfires, ball 1 to Beckham.
It's all about first pitch strikes, getting ahead, and then pitch count. You can see already 2 innings worth of work, 37 pitches, and he starts Beckham off with 2 straight balls.
Two 2-0 to Beckham. Hit a bouncer to Adrianza his first time up. And there's a strike.
So much of pitching is a mind game, and the confidence to throw that ball over and basically say, here, hit it. If you can, hit it. I dare you. And some guys just have that innate ability. Other guys are worried that if they hit it, it's not going to get caught. And it really is a mindset, I think. When you have success with that first pitch, a lot of times it's mistakes that are still hit at guys, and I think it just builds. And of course, it can work in the opposite direction too for certain guys.
3-1 to the leadoff batter in the 3rd. Reaches back, 93 down the middle, a swing and a miss. And the Rays do that an awful lot, as we've told you, with the high strikeouts.
I want your opinion of the hats the players are wearing in today's game, the camel hats. It's kind of like the look. It's certainly a tribute to the military guys.
I do like it.
I mean, it's not the Twins colors, so
No.
it's definitely a standout. It's kind of like Mother's Day with the pink. But if we're the greenest park in America, we might as well.
May have a green cap. Yeah. In addition to everything else, it'll look good in the duck blind, right?
I was going to say there's other uses for that.
Yeah. 3-2. And a broken bat. Line drive single to left. Leadoff single. Leadoff man is on for the Rays. Tim Beckham delivering a single. And our Sanford Health injury report, Nick Birdie was really putting it together, and I think people up here were excited about the prospect of him helping out up here. He was pitching at AA, and all the reports were very good. And then last Sunday he pitched, felt something in his elbow, and unfortunately a complete tear of the UCL, and the Tommy John surgery will be coming. And not only will it put him on the shelf for the balance of this year, but the start of next year. Birdie throwing in the upper 90s, and he was able to throw for strikes, had some command this time around, and now Mejia misfires ball 1 to Robertson. So you're looking at this Twins team, and you know, you're going to need reinforcements. All 30 teams are going to need some help from this point forward. Most of that help, they hope, will come internally. Now on the pitching side, well, things are a little thin for the Twins.
Yeah.
In the rotation, and with Birdie's injury, relief options might not be as plentiful as they would like. Mason Melitakis is a name that we might see up here before the season's out.
Well, it's crazy that year in and year out there always seems to be a shortage of good pitching. Everybody's in the same boat. Nobody's a lone ranger, and it seems like you can never have enough. But it is the key to winning, especially deep in the year.
2-0
pitching, you're just not gonna. It's all smoke and mirrors, in my opinion.
When we were in Baltimore and I had a 5-minute chat with Dan Duquette of the Orioles, that's the first thing he said. There isn't enough pitching in the game. You can't get enough. This is from a team that, you know, has been in the postseason or contending for that pretty much every year the Twins have been out of it. Fouled back. So the haves want more, and the have-nots really want more. And right now the Twins are a have, but they know they're going to need somebody from AAA or even AA to help out in the rotation before the season's out, or help out in the bullpen.
Well, Kyle Gibson's back up and will be pitching tomorrow's game, and basically, you know, he's here because who else, right?
2-2.
He was sent to Rochester, and ideally I think they would probably have wanted Kyle to have a few more starts down there, but because of Phil Hughes going down, you know, it creates an opening. And you take a look around the organization, you say, oh, well, who else? And that's what Paul Mahler has said to me many, many times about changes in the lineup, about a lot of things. It's like, well, give me an option. Nobody ever gives me options.
Got him. A delayed strike 3 call from Carlos Torres. And Robertson leaves home plate in disgust.
Borderline pitch down in the zone. Robertson didn't like it.
And now Torres hearing some chatter from the Rays dugout. That's a pitcher's pitch right there.
You know why? He called it a strike.
Was it at the knees? Tough to tell.
Back knee. It's collapsing.
And here is Longoria.
It is a tough, you know, in defense of the umpires, those are tough ones to call. You know,
you're not going to like it, I don't think, but I am convinced that, God willing, in my lifetime, we're going to have balls and strikes not called by human beings.
And I promise you, you're going to see more strikes than you ever dreamed of.
Really?
Yes, because any part of the baseball.
Don't you think that's where we're headed?
Well, I've been petitioning for it since I got into the minor leagues. I mean, why have an umpire? All they can do is mess it up, right?
We have the technology now to have a red light or a green light flash right as, you know, the speed of light's pretty fast.
Yeah.
By the time the catcher catches the ball, you can go red light, green light.
What you're going to see, and what Fox tracks our fan view of what we want to call balls and strikes doesn't show you, is all parts of the plate. So Mejia gets his second out here, and maybe he's going to avoid a leadoff single.
Morrison will bat, hit a double, and scored his first time up. Now you'll still have a home plate umpire because you've got calls to make. We've already had one in the ball game here today.
My point is, home plate has got 5 corners. Okay, it's got the basic 4 corners, and then the way it comes back to where the lines join is the 5th corner. And if you put a laser beam straight up off of all 5 of those corners, you're going to find that there's balls that come around and hit the back part of the plate that are not considered a strike on Fox tracks. So those balls that are just off the plate that I and Bird always call pitcher's pitches that are coming back around and catching the plate and you're complaining about,
I'm complaining.
You're not going to be happy when they're going beep, strike, beep.
Well, I don't think I'm complaining about it. I'm acknowledging it.
Well, all right, you're playing the devil's advocate.
Sure, that's my job.
You're trying to stir it up, and you're doing
to poke the bear. You gotta. My job
bear.
up here, you gotta poke the bear a little bit. You know.
Well, look at TC up here, and I'll interpret for him. He's got pause.
1 strike, and now a ball.
You know what? We're never going to know until they put it in. Or at least try it.
But you agree with me, we're headed in that direction.
I would love to see it. First of all, develop so that I don't know what the instrumentation will actually be. And maybe the home plate umpire will have another job, and that would be adjust the height of it from the knee to the letters for every hitter.
Runner goes. Pitch called a strike, and Jimenez can't get a grip on the baseball. Now that's, since we brought it up, that's going to be one of the challenges with this computerized ball strike system. A runner takes off, and the acknowledgement of a strike is going to have to be immediate.
For sure. And it's going to have to be an audible thing for the players, loud enough for everybody to hear.
Including the runner.
Sure.
Jimenez a little frustrated because I think he thought he had a shot at Beckham. Instead, it's a stolen base. 1-2 to Morrison. Hit a home run last night. Hit one halfway up the wall in right his first time up today. All of it against left-handed pitching.
But I don't think the first go-around should be in professional baseball. I think it should be at the amateur level somewhere to get an idea of actually does it work and how well does it work. And does everybody agree it's accurate?
And now 2-2. With the replay that exists, and if we get to that point, I can't think of a situation where a managerial ejection would be warranted. What are you going to argue about?
Right.
Box?
There won't be any arguing out of the dugout anymore. They've limited it all on base paths because of replay. You don't see arguments anymore. And the chirping in the dugout, that'll be gone because who are they going to chirp at?
2-2 to Morrison. Swung on and missed, and Mejia pitches around a leadoff single. It's still 1-1, and you're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm. Minnesota, can you find a picturesque trail in a port city that stretches over 4 miles along the shoreline of Lake Superior? Start your tour in Canal Park in the shadow of the aerial lift bridge, Duluth's most iconic landmark, and watch for ships, including 1,000-foot freighters, as they glide through the harbor. Find your North Shore getaway at exploreminnesota.com. Share your favorites with #OnlyInMN. Whenever I get a chance to recommend to someone, I've done it to some ball players, what to do during the All-Star break, I said, hey, give the North Shore a chance. I just think it's some of the most unique and beautiful scenery in Minnesota.
Lake Superior is definitely an absolute blessing.
Have you fished it at all?
I have. I lived in Bayfield, Wisconsin, so I was in the Apostle Islands, but I fished the North Shore. I camped along the North Shore. I've been on that boardwalk in Duluth in the summer, in the winter, in the spring, and the fall. And I'd recommend the fall.
Not in the winter so much?
Well, the winter is actually kind of nice because you'll get ice heaves, and depending on when in the winter, of course.
Right.
But it can get slippery walking along there because the water spray. But spring is a tough time, man. It's cold. That water stays cold for quite a while.
1-2 now to Mauer. Mauer, Grossman, and Kepler against Odorizzi. Twins had a great chance in the second inning, got 1 run out of it. The Rays, for that matter, had a great chance in the second inning and got just the 1 run out of it. Chipped towards the shortstop. Beckham has a little problem with it, but he stayed with it. The ball looked like it hit him right in the heel of the glove and almost bobbled free. 1 down. Tomorrow on Fox, the Monster Energy Cup Series heats up under the lights in Charlotte for the longest race of the season. It's the Coca-Cola 600 at 4:30 Central on Fox. You an auto racing fan?
No.
Well, I'm not.
Especially NASCAR, they go around in circles.
Yeah.
They turn left, and
I'm not that much of a fan either, but I'm wondering, you guys get used to driving 500. Now here's one to 600. That last 100's got to be long, isn't it? There's a ball slashed to left field, and Grossman's aboard for the second time.
Yeah, Robbie Grossman, he continues to have that great on base percentage. Walked his first time up on base, and now for the second time gets a base hit.
One out single, and now Max Kepler. Kepler with a soft line drive to right center field, and Souza ran in to make a catch to end the first inning. Base hit right field. Grossman rounding second, and a ball overrun in right field. Kepler's trying for second, and he will reach Grossman to third.
That was interesting the way that developed. Kepler never saw Grossman going back to the bag, and he goes around first base with every intention to keep running because he saw Souza bobble that ball, and that forced Robbie Grossman to take off and go to third. Had the cutoff been right to third base, maybe there would have been a play. Let's just watch this. Max absolutely crushes his ball to right. He sees Souza put his thumb inside the baseball, flips off his glove, and then Grossman, watch how he rounds the bag. He sees the bottle, but he's going to hold up there, goes back to the bag, and he's going to have to go to third because Max Kepler's coming.
2 in scoring position for Vargas, who singled and scored in the second.
It will be a single and error to the right fielder, Steven Souza.
Can't blame Souza for looking up. He was looking right down at the ball as it bounced off his glove.
Well, defense, we've seen it. It's not the best for Tampa Bay, especially in the outfield.
1-0 to Vargas. And a strike. Twins farm system has already produced an impact bat that wasn't with the team at the start of the year, that being Vargas, and an impact pitcher, Barrios. Vargas has really given the lineup a lift. And of course, he hasn't done much from the right side of the plate, but the Twins haven't faced much left-handed pitching.
No, they haven't so far. He's not getting a whole lot of at-bats against the left-handers.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Talking with Paul Molitor this morning, that will continue through the Houston series and even in Anaheim. The Twins have a lot of switch hitters, and in terms of their exposure, it's been really lopsided over the last couple of weeks. One left-handed starting pitcher that they faced since May 11th. High and tight, 2-2.
Well, that's why the value of guys like Max Kepler is even magnified more, is their ability to hit righties and lefties. And, you know, it's great to be a switch hitter if you're a guy like Eddie Murray. But do you have the same batting average on both sides of the plate?
Vargas strikes out. Out number 2. That'll leave it to Escobar. Escobar single to center his first time up.
Well, this one tails away out of the zone. As you saw Vargas try to go to left field with this swing. You saw how his shoulder, upper body stayed in on the ball, but the ball just kept tailing. Second strikeout for Jake Odorizzi.
Escobar swings and misses. Escobar's been much more productive from the right side of the plate than the left. But when he's had playing time, it's almost necessarily been as a left-handed batter. And maybe in some way those reps that he's getting will get his left-handed batting average back where he'd like it. Hitting just 170 left-handed coming into the game.
You just saw his batting average, his numbers with runners in scoring position. He's done a pretty good job there.
Foul back 0-2. Yeah, 88 at bats, 16 runs batted in. That's almost you prorated out to 500 at bats. You're talking about 100 RBIs almost. And he can pick up 2 here with a hit to the outfield. Now in a tough battle, 0-2 with Odorizzi.
We're seeing signs that both pitchers may be exiting this game early. Pitch count for both Odorizzi and Mejia through 3 innings, close to 60 pitches.
Mejia went 7 in his last outing. Another shortage of 2-out hitting at Target Field for the Twins. Escobar trying to pick one up here. Foul back. And we've seen in this at bat too what Odorizzi does. He likes to pitch up with that fastball and at worst give up a foul ball.
Yeah, he works up the ladder. He starts about letter high and just keeps going higher. And that usually induces a lot of fly balls. With 2 outs, you'd be more than happy to take a fly ball right here, as long as he keeps it in the park.
Another 0-2. In the dirt, rolling just a little bit of ways from Norris.
You know, I just saw something there that leads me to ask a question. I'm not sure you know the answer to this, but a ball in the dirt, the catcher has it go by him. You always see the hitter get out of the way. What if he didn't?
Just stayed in the box?
Well, not necessarily stay in the box, but what if he got in between the pitcher and the catcher and he's not in the box? I mean, is there a rule that says he's got to get out of the way?
Ground ball left side. Nice pickup by Longoria. Wow. That ball skipped to him at the end, and he stayed with it throughout Escobar to end the threat. The Twins get a couple of hits and an error, but leave 2 aboard. We're still tied at 1.
where the rally squirrel reappeared last night. Hasn't been good for the home team, though. This little furry guy made an appearance as KC rallied for a 6-4 win. Remember, the first appearance we saw was back May 13th as we flash back on Showstopper. The Twins were in Cleveland, and there he was again. Minnesota won that game 4-1. So every time the squirrel shows up, the visitors win. We like to call this guy Nutty. I'm not sure if he can water ski, but every time we're in Cleveland, we'll be there later next month. We hope that Nutty shows up because the road team does quite well, guys.
Well, Kevin, that's assuming that it's the same squirrel.
It is. He lives there. We know this. We've got inside information from folks that work at that ballpark that that's his domain. He's there day in and day out. Just doesn't like to come out all the time when all those people are there.
Okay. 1-0. And the pitch popped up. Spinning towards the seats, and it's 1-1. Mejia will throw his 59th pitch here. Like to get the leadoff man. He did that in the first inning, didn't in the second or third. Souza ended up walking and was thrown out at the plate on a fine play by Jimenez and Mejia on a pitch that was in the dirt. 1-1. Off a foot, and that's going to hurt. I want to pass along a happy 65th anniversary to Ronald and Bonnie Smith. They're from George, Iowa, which is in the northwest part of the state, about 20 miles west of where the old Bramer family farm was outside of Ocheyedan, Iowa. But happy 65th anniversary. They're great Twins fans. They're very much in Twins territory in northwest Iowa. Souza still feeling the effects of that foul ball. I'm amazed that as often as it happens that there aren't more serious injuries on that foul ball that ends up hitting the body about 2 feet from the contact point with the bat.
Well, he doesn't appear to be wearing any padding. Most players do that right off the
right
inside.
on top. 1-2.
Well, you know you got to throw another breaking ball down and in there, don't you?
We've established pitchers are some of the most sadistic people in the world. Outside now, 2-2. Souza, Kiermaier, and Weeks in the 4th inning for the Rays. And he took one right down the middle. And Souza hobbles as he goes back to the dugout after a called 3rd strike. Praise FM invites you to join them at Target Field for Faith Day 2017. Join us Sunday, tomorrow, to watch the Twins take on the Rays at 1:10. Then stay for a free post-game program featuring live worship music from Eaglebrook Church and testimonies by Brian Dozier and other Twins players. For details and to purchase tickets for Praise FM's Faith Day, visit twinsbaseball.com/faith. Most of the bat ends up in the first base coach's box, and a busted bat single for Kiermaier with 1 away in the 4th.
Kiermaier goes running out of the box. The barrel of the bat's way down by first base, and he takes the handle and just spikes it into the ground like he's thrown a knife, and it's stuck.
Right off the end of the bat. And it broke lengthwise.
Split up and down.
Here's Ricky Weeks, drew a walk. Mejia faced 6 men in the 2nd inning. 4 of them reached, and yet he gave up just 1 run. Leadoff double, a walk, an RBI single. That play that Jimenez made might be the biggest play of the game.
Well, this is kind of the way Mejia approached his last game that he ended up winning, is navigating through trouble. Pitch count again has always been an issue with him, but you know, I mean, in an ideal world, we'd all love the pitchers to have dominant low pitch innings. You go out there and just challenge hitters and get off the mound with 10 to 12 to 15 pitches at the most per inning. But the reality is, more than likely, you're going to have to pitch through some trouble times. And Mejia has been able to do that in a couple innings already.
That's why, and I think we discussed this after Berrios' game in Baltimore. As impressive as he's been with 2 dominant outings and one that wasn't quite as dominant, maybe the most impressive inning he pitched was that 4th inning in Baltimore when it looked like the whole inning could blow up in his face, and he managed to manage the inning even though there were guys on base and he was struggling. He made some big pitches when he needed to.
Yeah, damage control. As long as you leave the guy at third base, second base, or first base, it really doesn't matter when it's all said and done. Now, Tom Kelly always preached, get the guys off the field. Nobody wants to be standing around because we can't score runs when we're standing around on defense.
1-0 to Weeks. Foul back, 1-1. Now Berrios today is celebrating his 23rd birthday, so he's accomplished what he's accomplished as a 22-year-old. So we wish him a happy birthday today. Mejia is 23, like Berrios now. He will turn 24 in about 3.5 weeks. So as the Twins have called up these guys, they really are, in pitching terms, rather green and inexperienced and young. But therein lies some of the intrigue. There is a high ceiling for both of them, a higher ceiling for Berrios, to be sure.
Well, when you're relatively inexperienced, you just don't know. And that's why even with a guy like Berrios, it's hard to predict what his next start's going to be like. He's been on a great roll, and you like to think that, you know, this could be a breakout season where he wins somewhere between 10, 12, 15 games or more. You know, we've seen it from other players over the history of baseball, where when they finally have that breakout season, all of a sudden they're on the map and they stay on the map.
2-1 to Weeks. .65 pitches for Mejia, 37 strikes, a strike percentage of 57. Base hit to right for Ricky Weeks. Kiermaier will round second and go to third. So another threat for the Rays. First and third, one down, and Derek Norris the batter. Fox Tracks presented by Jeep.
Weeks doing a good job with that pitch right there. Stayed back, shot the ball to right field. Ball's up and away. He didn't go pull off the ball at all. He went with it. Good job of base running for Kevin Kiermaier. Just absolutely was thinking third base off the crack of the bat.
Derek Norris drove in the Rays run with a single to left. To the right field corner foul. How long do you suppose it took you to come to the point? You were a power pitcher, but to realize that sometimes when you're in a situation like this, the best approach is to take your foot off the gas rather than to press down on it harder.
Well, when I realized that in these situations, a breaking ball is typically your better pitch to throw. You know, fastballs is something you want to throw. It's nature to go harder. And
right center field, and Kepler will chase it. He's a left-handed thrower, and he'll come up firing quickly. And the throw cut off. A sacrifice fly, putting the Rays up in front 2-1. Kiermaier scoring.
I guess it's where you're trusting your secondary pitches. That's the real true answer, is when you really start being able to trust the fact that you can throw your secondary pitches in the strike zone at any count. That's when you become the total package as a pitcher.
Borges, the batter, hit a ground ball to Adrianza his first time up. Bunted foul. Borges doing what we've seen a lot of Twins batters do when trying to bunt for a base hit. Run out of the box and being in motion before contact is made with the bat. One strike. Swing and a miss as Mejia takes his foot off the gas on a changeup.
Good location too. He kept the ball down. Great arm speed there.
Mejia had a 1-2-3 first inning, but he's pitched from the stretch almost exclusively since then. Oh, 2 to the number 9 batter. 1-2.
For me, there's a common denominator for almost all good pitchers, and it's really true of all good hitters. The one common denominator is body control. Good hitters are well balanced, and they rarely do anything to indicate that they're off balance. And good pitchers have total balance, and that's why they're able to repeat their delivery and have good command. And almost everybody else, I look at and I say to myself, well, there's a reason for that. It's hard to throw to a moving target. You know, pitchers aren't quarterbacks. And when their body's moving all over the place, consequently the catcher's gloves moving all over the place. Where was that?
Just missed the inside corner. Jimenez says that was a good pitch. Do that again sometime.
Well, even if the result is a ball, it's a good pitch. And it is a ball. According to Fox Tracks, now the new radar system, that might have been a strike.
Full count with 2 down, and Weeks will take off from first. Mauer playing behind him. Bounder foul. Pitch number 75 coming up for Mejia.
I think the taller and the bigger a pitcher is, the more difficulty they're going to have of having a simplified delivery and repeat their delivery over and over. And it's true of golfers. You don't see too many 7-foot golfers on the pro tour.
Hit a long way down the line, but foul. Accepting the congratulations, as he should. Full count to Borges. Mejia trying to wrap up the top of the 4th inning. And now a foul the other way.
Borges giving Mejia trouble at the plate as far as pitch counts.
Borges is at bat, finishing the 2nd trip through the Tampa Bay batting order. Weeks goes again. Strike 3 on a check swing. Borges is out on strikes. And Mejia gives up 1 and leaves 1. It's 2-1 Tampa Bay.
Up compliments of Toyota.
Well, Derek Norris had a pretty good day. Base hit, scoring the first run of the game. That would be Logan Morrison. Then Adrianza gets a sac fly. That scored Kenny Vargas for the Twins' first run. It's all tied up. And then Derek Norris again, sac fly. Max Kepler couldn't do anything. Kevin Kiermaier comes in, scores the second run of the game, and that's where we're at. 2-1 Tampa right now.
Chris Jimenez takes outside, ball one, to lead off the fourth inning. Then Rosario and Adrianza. Jimenez fell behind, ended up drawing a walk to fill the bases with nobody out in the second inning. The Twins got one run out of that to tie the game. And now it's 2-0 to Jimenez. Jimenez with a good defensive play, scrambling after a wild pitch and firing a good throw to Mejia, covering home plate. Fouled back. One-handed catch by a guy holding his device, his phone on his left hand, right in front of us
while he's eating,
and he made a barehanded catch. One-handed catch, if you got your glove, that's not that big of a deal, but this was nice.
Well, he's wearing a Longoria shirt, and he's got pretty good hands.
At least one. We don't know about the other one. His right hand is pretty good. Now fouled back, 2-2. Jimenez trying to get aboard. Twins have had the leadoff man on once. That was back in the second when Vargas singled and scored. Foul tip, and Norris hangs on, one away. We'll bring up Rosario. Join us Monday, May 29th. The Twins taking on the white-hot Houston Astros. And the first 10,000 fans get a Brian Dozier t-shirt. Go to twinsbaseball.com/tickets. Get your tickets to Brian Dozier t-shirts and your ticket to summer. Astros with the best record in the major leagues, and it's not that close. 33-16. Next best team, the Rockies, 32-18.
Well, Houston certainly has put together a nice ball club. You got young talent up the middle, Altuve, Carlos Correa. You got good pitching.
A high drive to right center field. Eddie Rosario has tied the game. 3 rows into the upper deck.
Good for Eddie. That ball was crushed. And you don't see him pull that many balls, but that one he got all of.
Crush is a good word.
You know, that's like spotting a slider like Chris Archer did yesterday. For a pitcher, when you know you make a pitch and it's just executed perfect, batter swings and misses, it's a feeling. And that ball that he just hit, I mean, he knew instantly. The way he flipped his bat and looked at the dugout, he knew instantly that ball was gone. It's got to be a good feeling.
Ball one to Adrianza. Drove in the first run of the game with a fly ball in the second. And now a strike, 1-1. Strike 2. And again, the Twins answer right after the other guy score a run.
You know, they've done a good job of that. You never let the game creep away from you. The Twins have kept battling, and that's a sign of maturity, I think. You just never quit until it's over.
Fouled back. Talked last night about how the Twins have had four-game winning streaks, and they've had only one 4-game losing streak. Now it helps when you got guys like Irvin Santana and now Barrios in your rotation. Foul back, but it's all part of the resiliency you're referencing. You lose a few in a row, couple in a row, but you keep after it. And we saw way too many times last year, things just kind of.
Well, it started the month of April.
Yeah.
It started basically the first series, and it just couldn't get stopped. And then injuries, of course, early last year just absolutely put it over the top.
Left fielder Borges is there to make the catch, out number 2. But that's a sign of a contending ball club. You don't let one loss fester into another bad game the next day.
I think you brought up a good point, Dick, earlier, in the fact that this Twins team has showed over the course of the first 2 months that they're a pretty good ball club, and especially within the division that they're playing in, the American League Central. And the real question is, will the organization go out and try to improve its pitching staff? Because pitching is what's going to sustain over the long haul. I think it gives confidence to young teams, knowing that they don't always have to go out and bang the ball around for 7 runs. Solid defense should be there all year long. We've seen enough of it, and it shouldn't change. And Torrey Hunter talked about that, and LaTroy Hawkins talked about that, you know, defense is a constant. When you have a good defensive team, you should be able to bring that every day. But pitching and offense can fluctuate, and the Twins certainly at this point have to be considering trying to improve that pitching staff, especially the 4 and 5 spots.
The question, of course, is at what cost? What do you do to give up what you need? And all we know about Thad Levine and Derek Falvey is they came out of organizations that were pretty aggressive and open-minded about things. Swing and a miss. You know, Thad Levine coming out of the Texas Ranger organization, they looked at Cole Hamels a couple of years ago, and while the fact that he had years left on his contract was a deterrent to some teams, for the Rangers that was part of the attraction, to know what the fixed costs were going to be for Hamels. 3-1 to Dozier, and outside ball 4. And Derek Falvey coming out of the Indians organization. They sensed last year mid-season that they might have something special going here if they could just bolster the bullpen, and they paid a steep price to bring in Andrew Miller. Right. Dozier aboard with a 2-out walk. That'll bring up Bauer.
Well, that's the constant question, and it's not an easy one for anybody. Certainly Derek and Thad have got a whole bunch of factors to consider, and you know, at what price, how much is it going to cost over the long run, what's the window of opportunity. All those things are questions that are legitimate questions and concerns that they have to review.
Bauer 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground ball. A big swing. Joe bending that back leg and trying to lift one out of here. 1 strike.
Every once in a while, Joe goes up there with that type of swing, a Brian Dozier or Miguel Sano swing, and you know, it's a legitimate effort to try to pull the ball and put one in the seats.
So he got a pitch that was right where he was expecting it, and fouled it straight back. Dozier chased back to the bag. Situation where Brian might try to take off. Brian was successful in his first 5 steal attempts, now just 2 of the last 7. Still leading the team with, I beg your pardon, he has 7 steals and Byron Buxton has 6. So yes, he still leads the team in stolen bases.
Well, this is a good time to steal. If he's thrown out, start the inning with Joe Mauer at the plate next half inning. But if you can get to second, a base hit will score him, and that'll put the Twins on top. And I think Brian's a pretty savvy base stealer. He gets a good read, and 90% of stolen bases are off the pitcher and how good a jump you can get off them.
Rays considering a challenge on the pickoff move with the left-handed first baseman Morrison dropping that big trapper mitt on Dozier as he was getting back to the bag, but no challenge. One strike to Mauer. And no ball. 81 pitches now for Odorizzi. Twins have tied it up. See if they can give Mejia a lead here with a 2-out clutch knock by Mauer. Tap to the right side. Easy play for Robertson. And the Twins answer Tampa Bay's run in the top of the inning with one of their own. This one a long home run by Eddie Rosario. Pepsi fans of the game happy that the Twins have hit a home run here today. Always great to see so many young kids at the ball game. Top of the fifth, swing and a miss by Tim Beckham. Mejia out there having thrown now his 77th pitch of the ball game.
Yeah, a lot of stirring out in the Twins bullpen. Nobody up and throwing yet, but it seems like the whole staff is starting to get loose out there.
One strike to Beckham. Singled, stole a base in the third inning. 1-1.
Now, as a starting pitcher, if I turned around and I saw everybody getting loose, it would either fire me off or do something else.
Pulled foul. 1-2.
I used to tease one of my former teammate pitchers who was a relief pitcher. I asked him, I said, can you do me a favor? And he said, what? I said, can you get up about the fourth inning? He goes, what are you talking about? I said, well, every time you get up, I get inspired to pitch because I'm not letting you come in and screw it up.
Up and away. Well, it's interesting. You're an interesting case study, I think, about the win statistic. You know, when you started your career, it was commonplace for starters to go the distance. Certainly back in the 60s, that was the case. And the win was a very valid statistic for a starting pitcher's value to his team because they were almost expected to go 9. Swing and a miss. Beckham strikes out, one down. Beginning June 15th, the greatest players in the world descend upon Erin Hills for one of golf's most anticipated events of the year. Dustin Johnson looks to defend his title, but Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy are primed to tame golf's ultimate test and be crowned America's champion. The 117th U.S. Open begins June 15th on Fox FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Now, as relief pitching is almost as important, if not more so than starting pitching, the win as a statistic is hardly relevant anymore. And I say that with all due respect to you, who got 254 of them, or Blyleven got 287 of them. but for the very reason you just discussed. You know, if a guy's going to come in and pitch the last 3-4 innings or a series of them, well, you know, you might have had a 5-3 lead when you left the ball game, or any starter would, and whether you get the win or not is strictly related to how successful your successors are in that game.
Well, there's no question about that.
There's a ball blasted to right center field. Grossman won't get there. One hopping the wall, and Robertson has a double with one out in the fifth. Well hit ball to the gap, and the Rays have another runner in scoring position.
Sixth hit now for Alberto Mejia. Another fastball right over the heart of the plate, and Robertson doing a good job of going the other way. Now the game is, because of the analytics and because of the, like you say, the value, I guess, of the way the bullpen is used. And I think that it all started changing with two things. Pitch count became relevant for whatever reason. All of baseball, in a matter of a 2-year span, adopted the pitch count.
Adrianza looked back at the runner, Robertson, who stumbled in trying to retreat to the bag. There might have been a play there, but Adrianza took the sure out. 2 down.
Well, he did what you're supposed to do, and that's get the out. Look the runner back in Robertson.
Just to expand on what we were talking about, look at the Twins bullpen here. Tyler Duffy starting to get loose. In 2002, the first of the 3 straight division championship years the Twins had, Tony Fiore was a good relief pitcher for the Twins. He got in 48 games, pitched 91 innings. He won 10 ball games that year. That was more games than Brad Radke won, and he, you know, was one of the better starting pitchers in the rotation back then. He won more games that year than Johan Santana, who was part reliever, part starter back then. Logan Morrison, the batter, a double, a run scored, and a strikeout. Down and away, Jimenez peels the mask off, and that helps him find the ball down around his spikes.
Well, in my years in Detroit, there was a relief pitcher, and I'm having trouble remembering his name right now, but he pitched on the '68 Tigers, and that was the year Denny McLain won 31 games for Detroit, and he pitched in the month of September. And I think in the month of September, as a vulture out of the bullpen, he won 3 games. So he'd go around and tell people, yeah, between McLain and I, we won 35 games, 34 games, whatever it was.
Strike on, I beg your pardon, off the plate. 2-0.
John Warden is his name.
John Warden.
We
still see him around Tiger Stadium?
Sure. He's on the speaking tour. He's a master of ceremonies, half comedian. And still a 3-game winner in the big leagues.
2-0 to Morrison. Mejia trying to put together a scoreless 5th inning. Swinging a foul.
Well, needless to say, this is a big out right here. You got a guy that's got the potential to leave the yard. Left-handed hitter, and we talked about Mejia a lot like Hector Santiago has had a little bit tougher time with lefties than righties. Logan Morrison victimized Hector Santiago yesterday with a 2-run homer.
He's hoping to get one more out of Mejia. A called strike 2 and 2. I don't know that Mejia wants to repeat that pitch in that spot. Looked like a hanging breaking ball that was right down the middle.
I've always said, and you know, this was based on pitcher going deep into a game, 8-9 innings, but for me over my career, I know that I made at least 6 to 8 mistakes a game, and I always did. It seemed like it was a rare day when I made less than 5 mistakes, but it's what those hitters do with those mistakes.
Adrianza scoops. A scoreless fifth for Mejia, and he comes off the mound pounding his glove. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm.
With 100 scratch-off tickets, and David and Kelly are whooping it up here. And look at this sign. Look at the pictures of the Duke, and of course Jack Morris. Great pictures. How'd you find those pictures? How'd you make the sign?
A lot of searching on the internet and a lot of love and care.
A lot of trouble can happen when you search on the internet, but this really turned out great. And the guys in the truck found this sign hours ago and said it was the best sign in the building. That's got to make you feel pretty good about the work you put in.
Yes, it does. Very good.
And now you're being circled by a World Series hero, Jack Morris, from Game 7 to this great edition of Circle Me, Jack. And 100 scratch-off tickets back to Plymouth for these two lovely people.
Thank you, Kevin. Randy Grossman. Robbie Grossman, first pitch, a fly ball lifted to left center. Kiermaier with the catch. And Grossman quickly retired for the first out of the fifth inning.
Look at this guy.
Wow.
Gorgie.
Physical contact with our field reporter. I don't know.
He knows that guy.
Here's Max Kepler with one quick out in the fifth.
Take another look at this guy that's messing with our colleague Kevin Gorg. Right here, check this guy out.
First of all, he moistens the finger. That's the frightening part.
Wet Willie for Gorgo.
And a strike. Well, that's the ultimate professional right there, Kevin Gorg. To be able to focus and continue to do your job.
One of his favorites thing, though, is always doing the circle me signs. I mean, Gorgie looks forward to that every day.
2-1 now to Kepler. Tyler Duffy continues to warm up in the Twins bullpen. In the event the plug is pulled on Mejia after 5, be nice for the Twins to get him a run here, maybe make him the pitcher of record. Kepler slashes it to left, should be extra bases. Borges hustling after it, he'll backhand it, and Kepler with a double, his second hit of the ball game.
Well, Max Kepler continues to spray the ball all around. Let's take another look at the pitch. Ball pretty much center cut. Max kind of like Joe Mauer on that one. Inside outs it. Ball shoots the other way past Evan Longoria.
Every hitter's different, but that's the type of approach that I think the Twins would like to see from some of the right-handed batters. That ball hit pitched right down the middle, and Kepler hit it hard to the opposite field.
And it's all about where his hands are relative to the baseball. He was able to pull his hands in a little bit because he might have been diving out a tad. They've been pitching, the entire league has been pitching Max Kepler away, so I mean, it's kind of normal for him to go out after a baseball, and that one was right over the plate, so he had to pull his hands in a little bit to barrel it up.
Vargas came up in a big spot in the third inning, second and third, one down, and Odorizzi struck him out. Now strike one. And now a ball. I know the Twins, when they were working with Buxton about a month ago, it was about where the contact point was. Let's just bring it back over the plate rather than trying to make contact out front. Then you necessarily open up the whole field. Swing and a foul. You could see when we showed you the replay, the contact point for Kepler was right over the plate.
Yeah, they would like to see the ball travel deeper, and that's what they talk about, is have the ball get over the plate instead of out in front of the plate.
1-2 to Vargas. Go ahead run at second, one down. Checked. And it's 2-2. All right, here's Kepler, who got the double, and watch where the point of contact was.
You can see it better from the side angle.
Yeah, right over the whole center of the plate. 2-2 to Vargas. Escobar on deck. Fouled away. Vargas, we've compared him before as an offensive player to a farm product helping out here in May after not making the team out of spring training. We related it to Barrios on the pitching side, and of course both those players were away from the team for 3 weeks in spring training with the WBC. Now they're both here. They're both key guys to a first place ball club. Vargas checks again, and it's 3-2. When Vargas was called up, when asked about what he did at Rochester to warrant the call up, he mentioned something about taking his walks. Well, in fact, he's only taken 3 of them in 80 at bats so far in the big leagues. Now it's 3-2 from Odorizzi.
Well, that's mainly because big league pitchers have better command.
Right.
But for him, it's not really what he's trying to say is I'm not chasing balls out of the zone as much.
Right. And Odorizzi with pitch number 95. And a step off. And another foul ball. Again, it looked to be that fastball up that gets so many fouls.
I think Odorizzi is a little bit sneakier than some pitchers. That 95 mile an hour. Now, yesterday we saw Chris Archer hit 99, but this is a quiet, still 95, and it's up in the zone. And Vargas, over his career, has had a tough time with the pitches up in the zone, especially left-handed, but he's able to make contact there.
Oh. And Odorizzi brought the pitch down just a little bit, which was almost in Vargas' wheelhouse.
Yeah, but in just a little bit, too. He had to pull his hands in there, and he fouls this one back.
Another 3-2 to Kenny Vargas. He's had the last 2 swings have been very aggressive swings by Vargas, both fouls. 10 pitches in this at bat. When I got the scouting report on Odorizzi, I thought he'd have some interesting at bats with Vargas, and this has been the most interesting one to date. Vargas with a single to center in the second, and he went down swinging in the third. Now pitch number 11 and number 98 in the game for Odorizzi. Another foul. I don't think Oswaldo Arcia would still be at the plate facing Odorizzi. That would have been a 3 and out, because Arcia, like Vargas, went after a lot of pitches. He just didn't foul those pitches off. And another foul.
Well,
it has to be exhausting for a pitcher, doesn't it? You throw everything out there.
You know, you don't want to lose the battle, because you think all those pitches are for naught if you lose it. And I always thought, you know, if I'm going to throw 10 pitches to the guy, I wish I could go back to the first pitch and just drill him, and that way he's on first base. Especially, you know, if he gets on anyway.
Who's going to win this battle? To center. Long run. Kiermaier coming in and over, making the catch. And ultimately it was Odorizzi who won the battle, 2 away. And Vargas getting a nice hand from the fans behind the Twins dugout.
Watch how many.
Looks like something you see on the 4th of July. It looks like some fireworks.
Yeah, it does, or a shotgun spray. Patterning, putting a new choke on your shotgun.
Hickey with a trip to the mound just to give Odorizzi a break, I think. You can follow Twins baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball. Kepler still at second, now 2 down, and Escobar 1 for 2, and Escobar, like Vargas, had a big at bat in the 3rd inning with 2 men in scoring position. And Escobar hit a ground ball to 3rd. Actually hit it pretty hard, and the ball skipped at the end, but Longoria stayed with it, made the play. Breaking ball on the outside corner.
Kevin Cash sticking with Jake Odorizzi, 101 pitches. Bullpen just getting up after that last long at bat for Kenny Vargas. Chase Whitley, right-hander, now throwing.
Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. And Escobar is vulnerable to that high fastball too.
Yeah, he has a tough time laying off of it. He sees it and his eyes light up and he gets all excited and he takes a hack. But it's hard to keep your hands on top of the baseball.
0-2 to Escobar.
Duffy's been throwing for quite a while.
Driven to left. Borges back and makes the catch near the edge of the track. On to the 6th inning, tied at 2.
Winner.
on Fox Sports North is presented by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. A good outing by Adalberto Mejia, 5 innings. And unfortunately, the Twins couldn't get him a run.
Yeah, well, it's surprising that he would leave after just 90 pitches, 91 pitches. You know, you'd think he'd have a couple more outs left in him, but Paul's seen enough.
And Tyler Duffy will come in, and it makes all the sense in the world. You know, you have your bullpen start an inning, and Duffy's done well out of the bullpen. So now, at least on the Twins side, the game's in the hands of the bullpen, and Souza will lead things off.
Tyler Duffy's done a nice job in his role out of the bullpen, and he needs to maybe extend a couple innings here. Hold him right there. Keep the guys in the ballpark.
Want to know? Swing and a miss. Remember last time in his at bat, he fouled one right off the top of his foot. Well, now he's borrowing some of Derek Norris's gear in this at bat. Just outside, 2-1. Duffy has been really good against both righties and lefties. We've talked about the breaking ball and how tough it is against righties, and it has been. Duffy against righties, a .211 opponent batting average. Against lefties, .207.
Well, the reason for that, his breaking ball's got a lot of east-west movement. 2-3 feet sometimes Duffy's ball can run. And it doesn't matter whether you're right-handed or left-handed. It's hard to stay on that when it's moving that much.
2-2 now to Souza. Left-handed batting, Kevin Kiermaier. Full count.
You would think Duff would learn how to sink a ball a little bit better with his fastball, get on top of the ball and turn that wrist over and get the ball to run, because he would become the epitome of a sinker slider pitcher. But his slider, or his fastball, relatively straight, freezes Souza right there, and a ball down and gets a strikeout.
And Souza with a glare at Carlos Torres, another called third strike. Mejia got a couple of those. Let's see where the pitch was. Right there.
Yeah, that's a strike.
The big change, the big improvement for Duffy has been against right-handers. Last year, right-handers hit .337 against him. So a profound turnaround for Duffy, who now with a left-hander on the mound goes to the first base side of the rubber, and Kiermaier with a big swing and a miss.
You know, I equate that to the second and third looks for a guy that's starting. Duffy's not getting guys in the lineup to get more than one look at him. So that breaking ball a lot more effective the first time around than the second or third time around.
On the ground to Adrianza. Close play. Kiermaier runs well, of course. Adrianza got him 2 down. Well, now we'll have Ricky Weeks, a right-handed batter, come up, and we'll see Duffy move to the other side of the rubber. Did you do, at any point in your career, ever do that? Change your placement on the pitching rubber, righty-lefty?
I didn't, but I can't say that it wouldn't have been beneficial. I always threw off the third base side, and I think there was times, to a left-hander especially, that it might have been beneficial to throw off the first base side. But for right-handed hitters, you want that angle to really be increased, and that's what's happening here with his foot all the way towards the third base side.
Landed in front of the left-handed batter's box. Ball 1. Paul Molitor a little concerned about the long relief role. Now this is intermediate relief, I guess, coming in the 6th inning. 1-0. But the cost of activating Mejia was Adam Wilk, who was kind of serving as the long man, and now he's been designated for assignment. Haley, after being injured earlier, is basically a 1 inning at a time guy, and I don't know, frankly, who that long man would be right now. Weeks
Swinging over the top of that breaking ball, 1-2.
Well, it's really the guy on the mound, I would say. Tyler Duffy's, you know, a guy that was a starter, and he hasn't been extended all that much, but that's good news, because what we're talking about is the starters are getting through 5 innings minimum, and they don't have to bridge the gap that much.
Tough play, backhanded by Dozier, and he can't get much on the throw. And it'll be an infield hit for Ricky Weeks, and there haven't been many games for Ricky Weeks this year, at least, where he's reached 3 times in one game, but he's got 2 hits and a walk today. Not a well hit ball, but hit in a good spot.
Yeah, Dozier going hard to his right. He wasn't going to get anything on this. Weeks hit runs pretty good still. Duffy, on the other hand, might have wanted that ball to give him another chance. I'm sure he's a little frustrated that he wasn't able to knock that ball down.
Derek Norris will bat. An RBI single and a RBI on a fly ball. He's driven in both Rays runs. Driven to deep left center field. Kepler back and over with room to make the catch on the warning track. Played it as if he's been in center field his entire life, and it's a scoreless 6th. Into the bottom of the 6th inning. Twins haven't had a lead in this series yet. They've tied it twice at 1-1, now 2-2. And the Twins will send up the bottom 3rd of the order. Chris Jimenez, Eddie Rosario, and Ehire Adrianza. Odorizzi's still out there. Pitching out of a little bit of a jam in the 5th inning after the 1-out double by Kepler. Jimenez drew a walk and struck out. Rosario's hit a home run. Adrianza drove in a run with a fly ball. Pull shift in the infield for Jimenez. Up and away, ball 1. Mentioned it last night. This is going to be a tough homestand for the Twins in terms of run scoring. They need to find a way to win ball games like this one, because both the Rays and the Astros have very good pitching staffs, the top 2 in terms of team ERA in the American League. Twins were stuffed by Chris Archer for most of the game last night. Jimenez pops it back and out of play.
Yeah, compare the 2 teams in team ERA. The Twins came into today's game with a 4.17 team ERA, in Tampa 3.61.
It's roughly half a run difference, according to my Minnesota high school math.
1-2 to Jimenez. Checked his swing, I think. They appeal. 2-2.
You surprised to see Odorizzi going back out there? Pitch count at 107.
Well, I don't know that he'll be there at innings end. Ryan Stanek, hard throwing right-hander, is getting loose. Jimenez checks again. 3-2. In fact, I would venture to say that if Odorizzi walks Jimenez, that might be the end of it.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Good crowd on hand here. Very pleasant weather here at Target Field. Twins playing good ball and playing a good team in the Tampa Bay Rays. Jimenez takes one down the middle. Odorizzi still in the game after coming back to strike out Jimenez. That'll bring up Eddie Rosario. Something to smile about, presented by Cricket. Rosario's tape measure job to tie the game.
Yeah, these are fun to watch. No doubters. Eddie Rosario just went upper deck right center field. And everybody knew it right as the ball made contact.
Rosario with a fly to left in his first at bat. Well, there are some obstacles elsewhere in the lineup with other players about the wisdom of using the whole field. That's not the case with Rosario.
Well, and you know, they're playing him accordingly. You look out there and everybody's straight up. When a guy sprays the ball all over the place, you can't shift very often. You might in certain situations, if you know the pitcher on the mound can completely dominate one half of the plate, and you pitch accordingly.
Hit to right center field, down for a hit. Rosario has his second base hit, and he takes a huge turn and wisely scampers back to the bag, forcing a strong throw from the outfield. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by State Farm. Combine auto and renters and see how much you can save. And now A-Ray Adrianza. Adrianza drove in a run with a fly ball in the second, hit another one in the fourth. Not known as an accomplished hitter, we have enjoyed seeing Adrianza in the field.
He's done a really nice job offensively too. He's shown patience at the plate. He's had good bat control. He isn't swinging out of the zone. So many Twins hitters last year just were chasing pitches out of the zone almost at will. But different approach this year, and I think James Rowson has to be somewhat credited for that, along with Rudy Hernandez, the assistant hitting coach.
Adrianza lays it down foul. There's James Rowson in his first year as hitting coach for the Twins. Twins as a team hitting .249. They're allowing a .241 team batting average. One strike to the Twins shortstop. Outside. The league is hitting .248. The Twins are hitting .249. Home run by Rosario back in the fourth inning. The 50th home run hit by the Twins. Rosario, of course, can steal a base. Has stolen one in 3 tries. .115th pitch for Jake Odorizzi.
Don't see that every day.
Checked his swing, took a strike, and it's 1-2.
You see the 4th, 5th inning are the 2 innings along with the 2nd inning over 20 pitches, and that's how the pitch count rose so much for Jake Odorizzi today. Hasn't really had a breather yet.
And Adrianza protecting the plate, flips it foul.
And by breather, I mean that 1, 2, 3 inning.
One and two to Adrianza from Odorizzi. Foul back. Take a quick game break and let's go to Miami. Mike Trout hit one a long ways. And you see the power.
Yeah.
And then you look at the swing and the short path that the bat takes. That's one of the shortest swings in baseball.
Yeah, he doesn't really have that huge follow through. A lot of guys whip their bat back around their body. Not Mike Trout. It's almost like that quick little golf stroke where you chop a 9-iron.
Yeah. It was like a sand shot. Twins never had a lead last night. Haven't had one today. A chance to get one if Adrianza produces here with Rosario at first. There he goes, and the pitch rolled to the right side. Adrianza is retired, but the Twins are able to advance Rosario 90 feet. That'll bring up Dozier.
Well, Brian Dozier has hit a ball to the second baseman. He's flied out to left, and he walked his last time. But a good opportunity for him, and that'll be probably the end of the day. Maybe not. Looks like it is.
Yep. Odorizzi will come out. He's responsible for Rosario at second. Got through the Twins lineup 3 times. Gave up just a couple of runs so far. And with Dozier at the plate, I suspect it'll be Stanek, the right-hander, who will come in. Out, he's responsible for 2 runners. I did not see the 4 fingers issued by Kevin Cash intentionally walking Dozier, so that intentional walk charged to Odorizzi, and now the left-hander Alvarado coming in to face Joe Mauer, and he does throw hard.
I'm still confused as to how that, you know, baseball is such a game of statistics, and with this new rule that you don't have to throw it, you intentionally walk them, and yet Odorizzi is responsible for Brian Dozier, but his pitch count didn't change.
That's right.
And how does he go to first without a pitch count changing? Who gets credit for that walk?
Or blame, I guess.
Yeah.
It will be charged
to
to
Rizzi's runner.
And here's Mauer against the flame-throwing left-hander Alvarado.
Alvarado throwing right over the top.
.98. They cut the plate in half. Strike one. Those numbers explain why Dozier was intentionally walked. Joe, over time, has had more and more trouble with left-handers, and this guy throws high heat. Pitch might be low, but the heat is high. Driven to the left field corner, but it'll twist foul. And it's 0-2.
Alvarado coming in, throwing 2 quick fastballs. Pretty much down the middle of the plate. Joe just getting a piece of that last one. And now we'll probably find out if he's got a breaking ball of any kind.
Oh, and 2 to Mauer. Speed pitch buckles Joe, but it stayed up and in.
This game has just had one of those slow paces. Nothing seems to be moving along fluidly.
Each team has had some key at bats to get the big hit. And in reality, nobody's gotten a big hit yet. Mauer got tied up a little bit inside at 99.
That ball had a little tail to it also. Real good spot. I think Joe would have a lot more trouble if a lot of teams pitched him in the way that Tampa has tried to do this series so far. He's a guy that can handle the ball away from him. That's why he hits so many balls to left field. When you throw that hard, like Chris Archer did yesterday, not only with his fastball but with his slider. There's Chris Archer. And right now with Jose Alvarado throwing that hard inside Joe Mauer. Now they're going to try to go away.
Mauer gets a piece again. 99 miles per hour.
Pretty straight, that one.
Rosario with a single. He's now at second. Dozier was intentionally walked. Fly ball left field. And Borges over a few steps makes the catch, and the Twins strand 2 in the 6th. On to the 7th, still tied at 2. of the game in a tie game.
Well, it was Derek Norris who got the hit, scoring Logan Morrison for the first run of the game. Gary Adrianza gets a sac fly. That scored Kenny Vargas. Twins got on the board. Then Derek Norris again with a sac fly to right field. Max Kepler not being able to do anything about that run scoring. Kevin Kiermaier scores, and then a home run from Eddie Rosario, deep right center field, ties it all up, and that's where we stand right now. 2-2, top of 7.
Peter Borges will be pinch hit for. Colby Rasmus will hit leading off the 7th inning. Rays, like the Twins, have a 4-man bench. Now it's a 3-man bench. Rasmus, a good fastball hitter. Breaking ball wide. There are good fastball hitters and there are good fastball hitters. There's a difference. Some guys have good fastballs. Some hitters can just hit a fastball. You know what the point I'm trying to make? If you got a really good fastball, there's just a handful of guys that can hit it. Right back to the mound. Rasmus will be quickly retired. Rasmus is both. He's a good fastball hitter and he's a good fastball hitter. Okay, we'll move on. One down. Beckham will bat. Duffy's faced 5 men, gotten 4 of them. Taylor Rogers looks to be next out of the chute. Beckham 1 for 3. A bouncer to short, a single, a stolen base, and a strikeout. Swing and a miss. The other 4 teams in the division are playing each other. Detroit's in Chicago. They hope to play 2 today. White Sox have issued 8 walks so far, but they lead 1-0 over the Tigers, who put Ian Kinsler on the disabled list today with a hamstring strain. And the other game is in Cleveland. Kansas City and the Indians tied at 1. 2 strikes to Beckham. Off the plate with a fastball.
Well, Duffy had a pretty clean 6th inning. He did allow the hit to Ricky Weeks, and now with 1 quick out here in the 7th. I mentioned Taylor Rogers up and throwing, but I think that may be for the 8th inning.
And Duffy gets a strikeout, out number 2. This Memorial Day weekend, the one we're on right now, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Homes for Our Troops, building mortgage-free, specially adapted homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Learn more about how Homes for Our Troops is enabling our veterans to rebuild their lives and visit foxsportsupports.com. 2 down on the 7th, and now Daniel Robertson hit a double his last time up, and he takes down and away ball 1.
Tampa Bay has 8 strikeouts in this game, so they're 2 away from their average of 10 a game.
1 and 1.
And he ended up with 6 strikeouts over 5 innings.
Well, they owe us 2 because they only struck out 8 times last night.
Okay, they probably can have that happen, I'm sure.
That's been their history. Breaking ball over. We've talked about this before. I think in Baltimore we discussed the fact that the Twins bullpen right now has components of what could be a really good bullpen. Duffy's certainly part of that. Presley, most of his outings lately have suggested he could be a part of it. Had a rough outing last night, giving up another home run. But you've got Kinsler Rogers with a tremendous inning in Baltimore where he got some really tough right-handed batters out and ended up getting Chris Davis with what might have been the biggest out of the ball game on Wednesday in Baltimore. So no one's comparing the Twins bullpen to Cleveland's, but there are pieces of the puzzle there.
Yeah, you know, you look at their bullpen, and Ryan Presley is the closest thing we have to a power arm out there. But command and strike one and all those kind of things. Taylor Rogers, we saw some real good signs last year, and then he kind of went through a little troubling times here early, but now seems to be back on track. And Paul Molitor has a lot of confidence in him, so he'll be a guy that's going to be used like where he's probably going to be used here in the 8th inning. So we look at the last pitch. I think he went around.
Really?
Oh yeah, the bat was out in front of the plate. So if he makes contact, there's a good chance it could go over the shortstop's head, the second baseman's head.
Now a walk, putting Robertson aboard, and that'll bring up Longoria. Never a good idea to walk the guy ahead of Longoria. 0 for 3 today. 2 grounders to short and a pop to Mauer.
And certainly the next 2 hitters are the 2 guys you're most concerned about as far as keeping them in the ballpark.
This figures to be Duffy's last man one way or the other with a left-hand hitting Morrison. Down and away, ball 1. Rogers warming up, presumably for Morrison. So a big guy for Duffy to get, and he will have completed 2 innings and then.
Well, you just brought up an interesting scenario. I'm sure, you know, Paul Molitor would rather see the matchup of Taylor Rogers against Logan Morrison, but you don't ever want to walk a guy in a tie game late. So he's just hoping that Duffy's careful here with Evan Longoria. Chris Jimenez is going to go back out. He's fallen behind 2-0, and I'm sure this conversation is strictly about don't give in, don't make a mistake. You know, hit your spot. If you miss off the plate.
The guy to get, of course, was Robertson. He's hitting under 200, and he lost him to a walk. Now has to face a much better hitter with a man aboard.
So many times young pitchers have that stubborn streak in them where they just say, well, I can still get this guy. If I fall behind, I want to get him. But the veteran will admit that, hey, he's going to have to hit my pitch, and it's going to be something that's not in the strike zone. That ball right down the middle. And that's what I'm talking about right there. You don't want to throw that pitch to a guy that's hit so many runs here against the Twins over the last few years.
That's the type of pitch they threw to him a lot last year. Look at that.
Got away with one. We talk about that all the time. Pitchers, their destiny will be determined by those mistake pitches, and that was certainly one of them.
So Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. 2-1 now to Longoria. Popped up. And Adrianza in the outfield grass wants it. He's got it. 2 scoreless innings for Tyler Duffy. Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Jose Bautista off to a terrible start for the Toronto Blue Jays, but right now he's one of the hottest hitters in the league. 9 home runs, 7 in his last 16 games, and don't sleep on the Blue Jays. They had a terrible start, and now they are climbing back toward the 500 mark. Ryan Healy with 20 runs batted in. He's trying to make it. Actually, they lost that game 3-2 to the Yankees, so that series even at a game apiece. And with Keuchel pitching tonight, that's good news for the Twins. They don't have to face him, with the Astros coming in here after the Rays leave on Sunday. Robbie Grossman, Max Kepler, Kenny Vargas will bat here in the 7th. And Alvarado will start the inning. And Colby Rasmus taking over for Borges in left.
Colby Rasmus patrolled center field for Toronto for several years. Played for Houston, with Tampa Bay.
Grossman takes low, ball 1. Been a good day at the plate for Grossman with a walk and a single. Two and 0.
Twins need base runners, and this is a good guy with his on-base percentage to start it off for the Twins. Outfield playing straight away, and you'd think maybe they'd have him shaded a little tardy, which they do. Center fielder Kiermaier step or 2 towards right field.
Saw Sano in the dugout with a bat. Twins have a bench of Buxton, Sano, Castro, and Polanco. Strike call, 2-1. Fouled back 2-2. Grossman trying to get aboard. He's had the leadoff man on only once tonight. That was back in the 2nd when Vargas led off with a single.
These are at bats that you're going to have to grind on. You've got a guy throwing close to 100 miles an hour. It's not going to be easy.
Fouled away.
Robbie Grossman looks pretty darn comfortable from the right side against any pitcher. Trying to work the count. 11th pitch now already for Alvarado, who retired Joe Mauer in the 6th inning.
Two and 2. Full count, Kepler on deck. Danny Farquhar warming up in the Rays bullpen. Alvarado the only left-hander, so they'll try to get as many outs from him as they can. And another walk drawn by Grossman.
Another real good at bat for Robbie. Leadoff man on for the Twins. Bottom of the 7th inning.
And now Kepler. Buxton is going to run for Grossman.
Let's look at the pitches that Alvarado threw to Robbie Grossman.
And Grossman, with his patience, now gives way to a much speedier runner in Buxton. Kepler with 2 hits today against right-handed pitching will try to stand in there against a hard-throwing lefty. See what the Twins do with Buxton at first and nobody out. Bunt up the line, foul. Alvarado with a slow leg kick up, but a lot of left-handers do that, trying to freeze the runner.
Well, and that's why so many running coaches tell you to go on first move. As soon as he picks up the leg, you're gone, and you're rolling the dice that he's going to go to home. But a guy that throws 100 miles an hour has a little bit of makeup with his velocity versus that slide step.
Kepler takes low, 1-1. Saw Kepler's average against lefties. Tough challenge here. This guy gets the ball up to the plate in a hurry. Throw. One and one to Max Kepler. Close pitch, 2-1. You've seen Kepler hit the ball to the opposite field. You saw the signs given by Paul Molitor, maybe a hit and run situation here. 100 miles per hour down and away. See if the Twins send Buxton in motion here. Checked his swing and took ball 3. Buxton stayed put, obviously, and that pitch just missed. 3-1.
Another pitch at 100 miles an hour. And we're seeing some serious maturity from a young pitcher. That ball just off the corner. Kepler 2 hits in his last at bat, and been in the 4-hole quite a bit for Paul Molitor. Doesn't matter, it's a righty or lefty, he's there. Having a good at bat here.
And a strike, now 3-2. Backed it off to 99.
Dialed it down 1 mile an hour.
Now with a full count, does Buxton take off?
Twins really haven't tested the arm of Derek Norris, have they? First 2 games.
No. Buxton goes, and the pitch lifted to left center field, headed toward the gap. Rasmus with a great catch. Buxton has to retouch second and get back to the bag. Kepler with a drive to the gap, and Rasmus was able to cut it off. 1 away. Good at bat.
The ball had
a solid contact by Kepler.
Yeah, that ball had just a little too much hang time. Right off the crack, you thought it was going to be a gapper, but the ball stayed up a little bit. Colby Rasmus, who's been a center fielder for most of his career, able to run that one down in the gap.
Sano is going to bat for Vargas, and it'll be the right-hander coming in. Farquhar was warming up. He's going to pitch to Sano with Vargas taken out of the game. Runner at first, one away, tie game in the 7th. Miguel Sano didn't start today. Had a tough go making contact as of late, but he's brought off the bench here in the 7th inning with the go-ahead run at first and one away.
How nice would it be for him to come off the bench and get a hit here? Got Buxton at first, so you never know that maybe even a base hit can score him. And for no other reason, Twins score a run here to take the lead. There wouldn't have to be a bottom of the 9th inning in a game that's moving along about at the speed of stink.
Sano has struck out his last 7 times at the plate. Last 3 times at Baltimore and all 4 times last night. Now with a right-hander on the mound, perhaps more of an opportunity for Buxton to steal second base. Lead's about the same. And Sano fouls one away over the Twins dugout.
There is a huge gap in right center. Nobody at second base.
You hardly see Kiermaier. He's about 15 feet in front of the warning track.
Right. You got Daniel Robertson playing behind second base on the shortstop side, so you got the entire right side
thrown away.
That'll work.
Buxton
go to third,
flying to second. He'll go to third. Will he stop there? Yes. And Buxton at third base takes 2 bases on the error. Never seen someone score from first on a bad pickoff throw, and we came awfully close, I think, to him trying to score.
Well, this ball ricochets up the warning track along the wall there, and Logan Morrison's going to have to run a long way to get this. And as fast as Buxton runs, you never know.
Infield in now for Sano. 1 strike, and he takes strike 2.
Try not to do too much here. Make contact, lift the ball into the outfield. Nobody's going to throw out Byron Buxton if you get it anywhere near normal depth.
Up and in at 94. What the Orioles did to Sano Wednesday in Baltimore, and what Archer and the Rays did repeatedly last night, was throw breaking balls down and away off the plate. Sano swung at just about everything that was thrown out there. 1-2. Farquhar to Sano. 2-2. Inside 3-2. Now Sano has shown some restraint, although the pitches haven't really been close to strikes. Looking to keyhole one here. Couple of bases open. Escobar on deck. Strike 3. 8 straight strikeouts for Miguel Sano. That'll bring up Escobar.
Huge out right there. Opportunity lost. Let's watch it pitch by pitch. First one up and in, fouls it off. Second one right over the plate, he takes it. Third one way up and in. Fourth one up and away. Fifth one on the inside corner, 3-2 count, and then a little bit of a breaking ball down over the middle of the plate, and he just swung over top of it.
Escobar at the plate, Buxton at third. Inside, ball 1. Escobar has a hit in 3 trips, but he's had a couple of RBI opportunities in his last 2 tries and has hit a ground ball to third and hit a liner to left. Both times he's hit the ball rather sharply, but fieldable. There's that high fastball, and Escobar can't lay off. One and one. 2-1. Yeah, 2 bases are open, and Jimenez is the on-deck batter. Two and two. Twins still have a bench of Castro and Polanco. To left, retreating is Rasmus, and he's there. The Twins again threaten but don't score, and we head to the 8th, tied at 2.
At Target Field, I'm Anthony LaPanta inside Mall of America studio with this update. Same two teams tomorrow afternoon in the series finale, and it's a part of a doubleheader for us on Fox Sports North. 12:30 for Twins Live before the Twins and Rays close out the 3-game series. And then tomorrow night at 6, it's the Lynx and the Stars. That's tomorrow on Fox Sports North.
With the pinch running move made, Byron Buxton takes over in center field. Max Kepler moving over to right. And on the mound, it'll be left-hander Taylor Rogers to pitch to the Rays in the 8th inning.
Now Taylor takes over for Tyler Duffy. He pitches 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts. You see the numbers there for Taylor. 23rd appearance, and he's getting stronger, done a better job as of late. And he will try to hold it until the Twins can score a run.
Face the middle of the Rays lineup: Morrison, Souza, and Kiermaier. In Rogers' last outing, final game in Baltimore, so much was made of him striking out Chris Davis. Davis never swung the bat, and it was a 6-pitch strikeout. But Rogers, in advance of that, had maybe even a more impressive series of at-bats against some really good Baltimore right-handed batters. Just when chopped up the line, it'll be foul. Going back to Wednesday, it was the 8th inning, and Rickard got a base hit, a pinch hit single. So he was aboard leading off the inning. And then Rogers struck out Adam Jones. He got Machado to foul out to Mauer, and he should have gotten Trumbo. Brian Dozier made an error, and that set up the Davis at bat in a key spot. And he missed with 3 straight breaking balls, threw 2 fastballs for strikes, and then came back with the best breaking ball of the bunch to get Davis looking. It was a really good outing for Rogers in a key spot.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expected him to throw that 3-2 breaking ball after missing 3 straight to go to 3 balls and no strikes. But he had the courage to come back and throw, and he threw it perfectly, and Davis was locked up. Big part of that game. And this is a little bit different scenario, tie game right now, but he's kind of asked to do the same thing, prevent damage and extend it.
2-2 to Morrison. To center. Buxton sprinting in, making the catch. The reactions after the strikeout of Davis were good. Rogers with a fist pump. Chris Jimenez, the catcher, with a right cross that Scott Ledoux would have loved. It was a big moment. And Jimenez catching Rogers now, 1 down. Steven Souza Jr., the batter. Jimenez runs to the mound to talk to Rogers. Missing inside with a fastball. Anyway, Rogers said he got the feel for his curveball by throwing the fastballs. I don't know whether you ever experienced anything like that, where you got a feel for a pitch by throwing anything other than that pitch.
The reality is, if you can't command your fastball, it's hard to command anything else. And I think what he's really trying to say is he threw a couple fastballs after missing 3 straight breaking balls, and he got his rhythm back, release point back, and then he was able to snap off that last breaking ball that was back in the strike zone.
Check swing and a strike, 2-1. Neil Allen looking on. He got 5 innings from his starter Mejia, 2 scoreless innings by Duffy. Now 2-1 from Rogers to Souza, and there's a high strike, 2-2.
This is an interesting game, the fact that the Twins are hanging in there and have a chance to win this game. Mejia only goes 5 innings. Pitch count became a factor for him. Then Duffy comes in, does what Duffy's done so much of. Taylor Rogers now has to get him out in the 8th. But you look at the way it's progressed for Tampa Bay. Odorizzi goes 5 2/3, throws 118 pitches. You don't see that every day. Then Alvarado comes in and pitches a couple outs. Now Brandon Kinsler, he's up and throwing, getting ready for the 9th. Hopefully the Twins will have a lead for him. He'll have a save opportunity.
Two-hopper to Adrianza. Low throw, and Mauer has to dig it out.
Taken for granted a lot from Joe Mauer, but that's not an easy play, and he saves an out. Potential a lot more pitches for the pitcher. Adriana kind of nonchalantly throws the ball, and Joe just does a nice job. You can see that, just threw it right in the grass.
2 down in the 8th, and now Kiermaier. Saw Kinsler warming up. The preference would be to let Rogers get through the 8th here, and then either have a situation, a save situation in the 9th, or you don't anymore. Kinsler would have the 9th inning regardless. There's a breaking ball that buckles Kiermaier and bends over the inside corner.
One thing we've kind of noticed the way it's evolved lately is Taylor Rogers has been a 1-inning guy. Duffy, he's been extended 2 or 3 innings at times, but Rogers kind of being the setup guy now.
Rogers a little late getting to the bag, so Mauer has to get there. Rogers got a little bit of a late break, and Kiermaier, as we said, runs well. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th.
Is presented by State Farm. Back at the ballpark at a 2-2 game going to the bottom of the 8th. Stay with us directly after this contest for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll show you how Eddie Rosario showed his power going deep into right field to tie this game up. We'll talk about another solid performance by Max Kepler. We'll bring you inside the clubhouse, guys, and hear from the manager, Paul Molitor. The Twins have had some chances to get that separator. Maybe it'll happen right here in the 8th.
Yeah, Twins haven't done much clutch hitting in this game or this series so far. Here's Chris Jimenez to lead off the 8th against Farquhar. Pitches up, ball 1.
Well, the plan is to apply some pressure. You need base runners to do that.
Jimenez has walked and struck out twice, and now 2-0. I think within this game, the way it's played out, Twins have already made 2 bench moves, with Buxton coming into the game as a pinch runner, Sano as a pinch hitter. 3-0. Underscores the importance of the Twins maintaining a 12-man pitching staff rather than a 13. They still realistically have 1 bench move to make with Polanco should they choose to do it. But you're not going to switch catchers. You've got your backup catcher. Jimenez takes a 4-pitch walk.
So Jimenez is aboard. Second inning in a row where the Twins have taken a leadoff walk.
Well, you got to make them pay for that. And none of those pitches were even close. You see how those balls are all sprayed around outside of that strike zone.
Rosario with a home run and a single. See if he takes a pitch here. It would be against his character to do that, Rosario. But Farquhar's, as you said, not only missed but missed badly on 4 straight to Jimenez.
Well, he's got the green light. You know, Molitor wants him to hit a pitch that he can handle. Actually, bunting.
Jimenez will reach. Longoria makes the play. Jimenez with a big turn at second. Sacrifice bunt for Rosario, just the 3rd for the Twins on the season.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent to the Minnesota Twins.
Adrianza 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Quite a different scenario than the threat that the Twins posed in the 7th with Buxton aboard, pinch running after the leadoff walk. Finishing the inning at third base, Jimenez. Let's see, how can we put this? He does not have Byron Buxton's speed.
No, but in order to substitute him, you'd have to put in Polanco to run for him, and then that'll make you put in Castro. And what happens if Castro gets hurt? So you just don't make that move right now.
1-0 to Adrianza. The only strike that Farquhar's thrown this inning was the one that was bunted for a sacrifice. Roller to the right side. Jimenez to third. Second out, but not necessarily an insignificant out with Jimenez not the fastest runner on the team. He does move to third base, and that'll bring up Dozier, and it will bring out Kevin Cash. I don't believe they have intentionally walked Dozier this time around. Tommy Hunter will pitch next for the Rays with, again, the go-ahead run at third and 2 away.
Dozier is a great person, and I look up to him.
Very thankful, blessed to have Dozier.
Hit all those homers last year.
Hit 42 home runs last year.
You know, our MVP in a otherwise lackluster season.
That's something to also be very thankful and blessed of to even see.
Even though he hit 42 homers, but you have to do it this year too.
Well, I don't know if he'll hit 42.
Right now, they just hope for a base hit.
Yeah, you'd exchange 42 home runs for a key hit right here, wouldn't you? And the Rays will have the infield pull shift on with the go-ahead run at third. The first baseman, Morrison, is about 30 feet off the bag, and Tommy Hunter has had a good year with the Rays. Dozier's 2 for 8 against him lifetime with a home run. Down and away, ball one. Dozier's walked his last 2 times up in the 6th inning. He was walked intentionally. Nice block and scoop by Norris. 2-0.
Well, that could have been a run right there, but Norris does a nice job of blocking the ball and keeping it right there where he can handle it.
You've got to have a commitment to your intelligence to have a pole shift on in a situation like this. A lot of room on the right side of the infield. Pounded, foul.
Well, it's funny too because Tommy Hunter and most pitchers pitch Brian Dozier away, and yet they still shift him to the left side as a pull hitter. So that kind of shows that Brian could really feast off of going to right field. You only have Logan Morrison on the right side on the infield right now.
If you hit it to his right, it's a foot race to the bag. Driven to deep right center field. This is back. Gone. A home run for Brian Dozier. And the Twins take a 4-2 lead.
Just what the doctor ordered right there. Brian Dozier does 2 things well. He hits the ball hard and he goes to right field, and it goes out of the ballpark. Twins up by 2. And that was a welcome sight for everybody here today except the guys wearing the gray uniforms.
That was one of the longest home runs hit by a right-handed batter. That ball was off the facing of the second deck. A leadoff walk and a 2-out home run, and the Twins have their first lead of the series.
Well, that leadoff walk finally hurt them.
And now Bauer. Strike 1. Take a look at the pitch sequence and watch where the last 2 pitches were. Down and away, up and away. The pitch was.
Well, that was precisely what I'm talking about. Brian Dozier went with the pitch. The ball's been away. The whole league pitches him away. And that time he didn't try to pull the ball. He went with it, made a good swing on it. The ball still went out of the ballpark. Well, good for him. That's his first home run to right field all year long.
And that was a no-doubter.
Yeah, that was a bomb.
1-1 to Bauer. Fouled off a leg. And Kinsler continues to warm up in the bullpen, and he will enter the game trying to pin down the save unless the Twins score a couple more runs here.
Yeah, as it sits right now, he would be in a save situation. Taylor Rogers would be pitcher record position to win.
Professional courtesy there. I think Longoria coming in to talk to Farquhar and let Mauer kind of walk it off a little bit. That ball, the foul ball, really stung Joe's right leg. 1-2. And so Bauer hits it by Longoria into the left field corner, and it bounces away from Rasmus. Bauer to second, and he will hold up there. A double for Bauer, and that'll get Buxton to the plate.
Let's go back to the home run from Brian Dozier. You see that ball outer half, about belt high. Brian keeps his shoulder in. He commits to a swing going that way. The ball hits off the scoreboard up there in the upper deck. An absolute rocket shot up there. Twins go up by 2.
And then Mauer goes to the opposite field with a double, and now Buxton, his first plate appearance, hitting in what was Grossman's spot. Robbie with 2 walks and a single. Teams have gone after Byron pretty much the same way they've attacked Dozier, with pitches away. Ball one.
Buxton has yet to see any pitches off of Tommy Hunter. This is his first plate appearance against him.
Up and away, 2-0. It was Farquhar's 4-pitch walk to Jimenez that gave the Twins a chance here. They have at least 2 in the 8th. The strike on the outside corner. Under a big man, you can see he can still bring it 97 miles per hour with that fastball.
He's always had a good fastball. Spent most of his career in the bullpen for the Baltimore Orioles.
With the knees at 97, 2-2. Rolled up the middle, and a base hit will score Mauer. Buxton put it on the ground in a good spot, and the Twins lead by 3.
Good for Byron Buxton. He gets the ball past the pitcher, Tommy Hunter, and once he does, Joe Mauer running on contact, and he's going to score easily. The ball didn't have a lot of giddy up to get through the infield, but it got by the second baseman, Daniel Robertson, and once it did, no doubt about this one.
Buxton with a breaking ball off the plate. Enough bat on it to just get it out of the reach of Robertson. And now Kepler will bat. Kepler's had another good day at the plate with 2 hits against the right-hander. And then facing Alvarado, he had a liner to left. I would think a pretty good chance Buxton tries to steal here. Kind of playing with house money. You're up by 3 runs. Not on the first pitch, and Kepler takes a strike. There goes Buxton, and there will be no throw. Ball rattled out of Norris's glove, and Buxton has a steal of second base.
Again, everybody has to speed things up when Byron Buxton's on base. And Daniel Norris, or excuse me, Derek Norris, no different. He's trying to speed things up by getting his feet out and trying to get rid of that ball quickly, and he bobbles it. Byron gets a stolen base.
Sun breaking through here. Been cloudy pretty much all day. Now the sun is breaking through as the Twins have taken a 3-run lead. Popped up, it'll reach the seats.
Well, this whole inning started with a leadoff walk to Chris Jimenez by Danny Farquhar, and he will be the pitcher of record if the Twins can hold on. It's not the home run from Brian Dozier that was the game winner. It was the leadoff walk. Dozier's home run created that.
One and 2 to Kepler. Robertson from the outfield grass throws him out to end the inning. A leadoff walk. 3 runs for the Twins, 2 of them coming on Brian Dozier's 7th of the year. Jimenez trying to do what Sano did to Joe Mauer, lift him up after a big home run. 5-2. Twins have a lead, and Brandon Kinsler comes into the ball game to pitch to the bottom third of the Rays batting order.
Well, he'll have the 7, 8, 9 hitters. It looks like Michael Martinez is going to pitch it.
Martinez will hit for Ricky Weeks. Outside ball 1. Weeks had reached all 3 times with 2 singles and a walk. And now a strike, 1-1. Martinez obtained from the Indians for cash considerations. Dozier dives to his left and throws him out. Pretty good 5 minutes for Brian Dozier.
Well, another great defensive play. Brian Dozier going to his left. He keeps his eye on the baseball, and he knows he's going to have to take a leap. And it goes backwards instead of straight along the grass. Nice stop there. Comes up. Plenty of time to throw out Martinez. 1 out. And that's the way to start the 9th inning.
And now Derek Norris will bat. Down and away, ball 1. Norris signed as a free agent at the end of March, as the Rays were looking for somebody to do the bulk of their catching until Wilson Ramos comes back. Ramos maybe just a few weeks away from coming back to help this ball club. Popped up short right field. Dozier's there. Kepler right behind him, and Dozier with a catch, 2 away.
And that'll bring up Rasmus. What's next? The series finale brought to you by CenturyLink. Alex Cobb's had a tough time getting a feel for his changeup. And he'll be facing right-hander Kyle Gibson. And that appears to be, right now, going to be the rubber game of the series. Rasmus, last hope for the Rays. Infield pull shift on for Rasmus. Swing and a miss. Rasmus entered the game in the 7th pinch hitting appearance, and he hit a comebacker to Duffy.
Well, the crowd getting with the program here on their feet, getting ready to celebrate a home win. It's been a while.
1-1. Starting to be a little separation in the American League Central. The Tigers really scuffling. They lost the opener to the White Sox. The Twins know all about separation, but they've been on the wrong side of it most of the last 6 years. And a strike called, 1-2. Twins fans didn't have much to cheer about last night. Chris Archer made sure about that. Two and two. Now a full count.
Atkins trying to end it before it's time and threw it a little hard. He rushed his lower half, and the ball stayed up in the zone.
Beckham on deck. He's the leadoff batter for the Rays. A drive to deep right field. And Rasmus into the upper deck. Makes it a 5-3 ball game.
Kobe Rasmus, very strong hands, and he hunts fastballs. He gets one there and a 3-2 count. Kinsler's got to challenge him, and he does, and Rasmus gets the better of the deal.
And now Beckham. Mentioned that he loves fastballs, and he got one thigh high in the inner half and hit it a long way. Beckham is 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and a single back in the 3rd inning. Check swing, foul, strike 1. Corey Dickerson's in the on deck circle if Beckham can keep the game alive. Rays will send up Dickerson.
Yeah, the tying run on deck.
Strike 2.
That ball just ate up at Beckman on the inside part of the plate there.
Oh, and 2 to Beckham. Just got a piece.
Down and away, 1-2. Got him. A stirring win for the Twins in the late innings. And they've evened the series at a game apiece.
A good win, a good come from behind win for the Twins today. Couple of home runs that made it interesting for the Twins. Brian Dozier with the big blow in the 8th inning. And then Brandon Kinsler comes in, finishes it. Overall, a good effort. Another good job out of the bullpen for the Twins to even up this series.
Tom Hanneman, one of the better games the Twins have played at home in a while, and it ends up being a 5-3 victory.
Dick, the Twins snapped the Rays' 4-game win streak at Target Field and avert their 6th series win at home, at least for another day. Up next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. More on that man, Brian Dozier, who helped the Twins win in the 8th, and we'll hear from Paul Molitor.